Yeah, okay. So
So,
Chef, I've heard from a couple people also that maybe not going to be here.
yeah. So Daniel, not here yet. Daniel Bolton, Shaheem, not here yet.
Hey, Chef,
What's up?
I'm gonna join right back. I'm on my way home from the store right now, like maybe 5 minutes.
No
Hey.
mask?
Huh?
No mask?
Nah.
All right. Aubrey, Daniel Bolton, Shaheem, Austin, James. Okay. Who else? Nick and Caitlin and well, Cameron's going to come back. So that's what I got. That's James. Okay. Let's see who joins in a few minutes.
Got Mercedes?
Yeah. I have, Shugir, I have Daniel Bolton, Shaheem, Aubrey, Austin, Nick, and Caitlin not here today.
Okay.
So good video, right? Open for discussion, guys. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I've been cheated on that wine thing. Marking up I want to go back and give them a piece of my mind now.
The bundles are what got me, because my mom loves bundles. She signs up for certain restaurants give out coupons and texts, and yeah, she goes for those almost all the time.
Yeah, I knew I felt like a victim for a reason when I walked into Denny's.
The bundles, the wine, what else?
I mean, I have to.
Interesting.
Go ahead.
Was that James?
Go ahead, Mercedes.
Okay, I thought it was interesting that they had to pay taxes on the unredeemed value of gift cards.
It's sales dollars. You walk in there and pay them $50 for a gift card to give your mom or somebody. That's taxable sales.
Yep.
But even if, once it's out of my hand, it should be out of my hand.
The restaurant pays sales tax on it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's so weird because they've sold it, but if it doesn't get used in its entirety, they have to pay for that. And that's just so weird to me.
I know. So
I've always wondered actually what happens to like all the unused credit, because one time, I lost a gift card from Christmas and I couldn't use it. I was like, what happened?
They party under the seat of your car. They all get together.
Nothing happens, Raceland. You want to know what happens? That company took your money, and you don't get to use that coupon.
Well,
right.
it was a Christmas gift, so they technically took my aunt's.
They took the money and they never had to give you the food for it, so they made some free money, you might say, huh?
Exactly.
So we're going to be talking about the menus in general today, and that kind of gives you an insight. And once you watch it, you're like, hey, wait a minute, I've been kind of violated, right? The bundling, Whataburger, McDonald's, Denny's, restaurants, that wine. A while ago, I took my ex to brunch at the Iron Cactus, right? And was sitting there with the kids, and I had the menu tent. I forget what it's called in the video, but they had the little tents on the tables, right? And it was advertising a glass of wine for $7.50. And we used to teach wines before, and I never heard of this wine before. So I'm like, I'm gonna look at it and see what it's all about. So I Googled it. I pulled up my phone and Googled it. That bottle of wine at Specs or Twin Liquors is like $7.50. Glass of wine, $6.50. If you sell one glass of wine, I already paid for the bottle. So the markup is extremely high, and those little tents are there to gather your attention and again to jack you out of your money, right?
There's some bottles where they pay for the bottle, they pay $7.50 for the bottle, and they get their money back on the first glass, and that's kind of industry standard, maybe a glass and a half. People don't really have too much problem with that, but when it's $7.50 at retail, and they must be paying $3 and they're getting $7.50 from me. That hurts a little bit, right? That's like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to work at a restaurant for a glass of wine. It was $6, and they bought the lowest end of wine that they possibly could. I mean, a bottle of wine would cost us maybe $5.50, $6, because we used to get it from like on wholesale prices because we used to buy it in bulk. And you could actually buy the bottle of wine for $36.
Yeah, it's extremely high, the markup. You know, you can even buy a $2 chuck at what's called a Trader Joe's. Is $1.99 for a bottle of wine. It's good wine. You can sell it for $6 a glass. So yes, the markup is extremely high. There's a lot of psychology behind the menu, as you guys notice. Even again, how you read the menu and where your view goes. Go to the menu, the middle section, the top left, top right. So they want to go ahead and put the medium items or the most expensive sometimes in the middle of the menu, so you can go ahead and order those. So the bracketing, the bundling, the marketing, what else? The boxing of the items. There's a lot of psychology into the menu. So as you guys start developing your menu, think about at those numbers, at those topics and bullet points the video showed. How are you guys going to design your menu? Because when we read your menu, I want to get interested. I want to almost order anything off the menu. I want to see what I can order off the menu. Okay. So yeah, so think about those. It was quite interesting to look at it. And again, even somebody mentioned the last couple of days or yesterday about, you know, am I okay with having a $sign or 99 or 70 cents on the menu? Even the $sign, get rid of it, because people think, right? You want them to think about the food, not how much it costs. That's another psychology part. When you start looking at the $signs, I'm like, holy fuck, that's too expensive. Can't afford that, right? Or maybe on a budget, maybe I'll go for the chicken or the pasta dish and skip a steak and lobster to the shrimp scampi.
Also, I think the different portion sizes, that's pretty genius, because you're actually making more money that way, as opposed to selling the full size, because most people say, oh, most people nowadays are on diets for whatever reason. Oh, I'll go with a smaller portion. And in that, they're making more of the smaller portion, therefore making more money. So it's actually pretty genius.
Yeah, I think that's called bracketing, if I'm correct, if I'm not, might be sure. Yes, it's pretty genius on that part, because you know, if you go to a steakhouse restaurant, you know, like Daniel Rodriguez was, you know, looking to a steakhouse restaurant, you can have a New York strip steak for 10 ounces, 12 ounces, or 16 ounces. Even a filet mignon, maybe a 6-ounce portion, 8-ounce, or 12-ounce filet. Okay, that's bracketing, and it's you know, what's the difference between a 6 and 8 ounce? 2 ounces, and the price is huge. Is different.
Really nothing when it's cooked, honestly.
Nope. So bracketing is very important. What about the descriptions on the menu? Remember, go back to the they were describing the buffalo wings, right? Juicy, tender. What about the apple pie? Are you going to buy an apple pie from the menu that says apple pie, or grandma's style apple pie?
You got to use those power words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to say it, James. Power words, yeah.
Yeah, twist arm.
So when you start again, when you guys start thinking about your menu, think how you're going to describe the items in the menu, how you're going to price them, and where are you going to locate each item. Again, you got 5, 5, and 5. So where are you going to strategically place the items? And one thing too, to never overlook, at the bottom of your menu, you're going to, you need to have that disclaimer of eating raw foods, you know, so forth and so on. Because see, if you have burgers in your menu or seafood or oysters, you got to have the disclaimer so anybody claim to get sick on the food that you serve. Okay, that's why you never order or sell rare, medium rare burgers. Okay. So interesting video, right? It makes a lot of sense.
That steak you called, where it's raw, except for the outside of it.
Blue.
Steak. Yeah, it's either black and blue or Pittsburgh. There's 2 names: Pittsburgh and black and blue.
Pittsburgh. Is it the same thing?
Pretty much same thing. Pittsburgh, black and blue. Now you can't order a steak tartare and eat it raw, because steak tartare is the a beef tenderloin, the best cuts, and it's not mixed with anything. It is ground up under a temperature control room, and it is served with it's mixed with brandy, egg yolk, capers, parsley, diced onions. So the brandy kind of cooks the beef. Okay, or you can also sell beef carpaccio. It is raw too, but it's a strip bone that has been cleaned, trimmed, frozen, and then sliced very thinly and put on a plate, drizzled with some olive oil, some Bermuda sliced onions, and capers. So you can use some of those, but when it comes to anything that is mixed with any kind of meat, no rare or medium rare. Okay.
Oh, that reminds me of the video. How they said Jack Daniel ribs, but it's not like real Jack Daniel ribs. It was just the barbecue sauce.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, they like to use words like that people, everybody loves to say, oh, I had this Jack Daniel's such and such, and showing their good taste and loving Jack Daniel's and stuff. Not a particularly great whiskey, but it's popular and it sounds good to people, right? And branding, right, Chef?
Branding, you can have Jack Daniel's on the menu, Jack Daniel's ribs or Jack Daniel's barbecue sauce. And
I used to have a chocolate cake and the frosting. I call it pecan chocolate cake with pecan Jack Daniel's frosting, and I think it helped a lot of people try their first piece of it for sure.
Or bourbon glaze. Yeah, so when you do Jack Daniel's, I've seen places that they use, they're out of Jack Daniel's and they use Old Crow. I'm like, nah, that's wrong. Okay. Old Crow is like bottom of the barrel scrapings of the distillery. So yeah, it's a lot mental thought behind the menu, how to lay it out. You're gonna box it, not gonna box it. How do you word it? How do you describe the items? Where are you gonna put the price? If you're gonna include a dollar sign or not? And then we're gonna get into some of the items are, can you use visual aspects like a picture or not? And it's all up to you. And it's all up to the concept. Okay. So it's a good one to watch. It makes you think, and it's like, yeah, falling into this category. I've been there before. I used to go to the Jim's restaurant, diner up here in 183 in Burnett. I used to order the couple tortilla soup and a club sandwich. Again, bundling. But that was okay. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I was gonna say I always get the tortilla soup there. That's the best.
It's never changed. Has never changed ever since I landed here from New York in '98. I went to the one in Oak Hill. That's where I used to live at before. So I went there and I ordered it, and I've been hooked on those two items ever since then.
They had stringy cheese in there.
Oh yeah,
melted cheese. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a good video to watch, right? Makes you think twice. When you go to a restaurant, you're gonna get suckered into bundling, bracketing. Are you gonna fall that victim on that menu tent on the table, or are they gonna sell you that cheap 2-buck chug, which is actually $1.99 at Trader Joe's? Not a bad wine, but it's $1.99. It just right.
Call them out.
So with my menu, Chef, I had the different sizes of wings. Would you still consider that bracketing, even though it's like somewhat reasonably priced?
Yep. Because a wing may cost you 45 cents a piece of wing. Okay. If you add 6, how are you gonna sell it for? If you add 8 or 12, it's still bracketing. Still, a wing is a wing. I mean, it just what is it? 60-70% of the item is pure bone. The rest is just a little bit of meat. So yeah, it's bracketing.
Okay. Would you say that's a no-no, or like?
No, you can do that.
Okay. I just didn't. I didn't understand what you were saying about how I didn't know if you thought you shouldn't do it or should do it, or like I couldn't tell where you were going with that one.
Think about the movie theater. How much are you paying for that extra jumbo family-sized popcorn? $20 to $5.
True.
Right? It's pure. It's just air. And you buy the little one, so they got the bracketing. Even the soft drinks of the beverage station, they got small, medium, and large bracketing. Okay.
Look at a bundling too. Look at that like the #1 hamburger at Whataburger. That nice hamburger is 5 inches. It's thin and flat and wide. They can griddle it up in about a minute and a half. And the hamburger and some fries will be like $7.75 or something like that. Really, really. And then if you get the meal or the combo, then it's $8.25 or something like that by the time you pay your tax. So.
And you're literally paying $3 for a drink.
Huh?
And you're literally paying $3 for a drink at that point.
Right, but they've got it set up so cleverly that even if I don't want the Coke, just like, oh man, they're giving me the darn Coke. I guess I'll pay the 8.25 or whatever it is and have the Coke. If you skip the Coke, you only save about 40 cents, but they've already got the Coke figured into the price of it. And I mean, they are masters. They win every time I drive into a place. I know they're going to win.
Chef, quick question. Since James is like doing a wing concept, right? I know you said 45 cents per wing. So, depending on the sauce, couldn't he, like, whatever ingredients goes into the sauce to make wings, depending on if it be Parmesan or whatever, doesn't that increase the value or decrease the value, or no?
No, because you can have your base sauce, and then from there, you know, that'd be your mother sauce, and from then do variations. Maybe one Jack Daniels, maybe another one different sauce. It doesn't decrease your value. It's the same. What it does is it helps you control your product in your kitchen. You're using one product in different recipes.
Okay.
So if anything, it's good to your advantage.
All right.
So menu, today is day 12. Creating your menu and location, psychology, targets, and demographics. We're going to be talking about that today, okay? You guys saw a little sneak peek yesterday. What was that supposed to be about, okay? So target markets and segmentations. I think the website is cd-data.com. I'll look it up, okay? So you can figure out your target market, who you're going to sell, who you're going to target to for your restaurant. Demographics. Define a target market for your small business. Identify profitable target market or niche for your business. Must have enough customers to buy the product or service offered. Take time to evaluate your potential customer base. Figure out your target customers. Tailor your marketing efforts as well as your products and services to those customers. Why is that important, guys?
Because they're the ones that are going to be spending money in your restaurant, so you don't want to, I guess, kind of make something that you would like, but not everybody else would like, I guess, for the evaluating your potential customer base. As far as that goes, like what you're serving or selling people to appeal to the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just like if you have a vegan, a lot of vegans, you know, and you're serving prime rib, it's not going to really work. You're going to have to change the dynamic a little or give a vegan option.
Just
You
like,
gotta know.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying. When I'm right and I post my chapters, it's like you got to know your audience.
Mm-hmm. Just like what was the guy's name from N Pizza? Remember, he said they were opening one at the airport, and he was kind of like not with it at the beginning.
Yes, chef.
But his target audience, who travels the most nowadays?
Young people.
Right. So he had the right market. He was, again, because when you open up a store at the airport, you're going to pay higher taxes, security, and more fees to have a little shop at the airport. So he was kind of against it, but you know, he fit on that category. So he was right on the target market because young people that want to travel the most. Okay. So why is defining target customers important? Having a clear vision of your expected customer base will increase your business chances of success. By defining your target customers, you can better determine if there are enough potential customers for your business. In other words, whether there is enough demand for your products, services. Tweak your business idea to better meet the needs of your potential customer base. Tailor your products and services to better meet your customers' needs and desires. Target your marketing efforts to reach your most promising prospects, and craft your marketing messages appropriately using the right tone, language, attitude, and appeal to your best prospects. So it's all in the marketing. And today, social media is huge. You can use that to your advantage. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, and I don't know, whatever is, you know, how to use that to your advantage. Take pictures, create a page for your business, and start advertising it. Don't you know, go ahead and buy a slot on top of the taxi cab and try to, you know, advertise your business there. It's great though, but you know, it costs a lot of money. So how to find and sell your target market to your target market? Who are your customers? Who will buy your product? Sometimes even savvy small businesses, small business people either have no idea who will buy from them, or they assume that everyone will. Assumption like this can lead to a wrong decision, wrong pricing, wrong marketing strategy, and ultimately business failure. The most successful most business understands that only a limited number of people will buy the product or service. The task then becomes determining as closely as possible exactly who those people are, and targeting the business's marketing efforts and dollars towards them. Okay. So again, it's all falls into the who's your audience. Okay. So let's start with you guys here in Texas, right? I don't know if I told you guys, I had a very talented executive sous chef by the name of Tony or Anthony Ramirez. He used to work at Fukumoto, East Austin, then like Condesa, then he opened up in Boston Steakhouse called CG's in Gonzales, and he came back, you know, due to the all that is going on, he's not working right now. But anyways, very talented, was self-taught, very interested in molecular gastronomy. Okay. He was my executive sous at Lakeway out of Lake Travis. Okay, it's a golfing retirement community. There's a lot of money, but again, think about the demographics. Think about the customer base. Who pretty much lives in and around the property if it's a golfing retirement community?
Say that again, Chef.
I was taking notes.
Who will be your customer base at a golfing
Elderly
retirement?
people.
Older people,
Okay.
Elderly, retired.
rich people.
Trust fund babies.
Okay. All elderly retire, right? So
People who have nothing better to do than play golf. That's who they
Yeah.
are.
Drink beer and play golf.
right.
Doesn't sound very exciting to me.
So the menu, it was a Tex-Mex, kind of a casual, because the property, the community treated it as their own clubhouse, their own little personal clubhouse, even though it was open to the public. Okay. Anyways, very talented. But again, we had nachos, we had burgers, we had steaks, we had some hanging out and still on the menu mix. So he was, you know, his mentality was he wanted to bring molecular gastronomy to the menu. So I let him play with it. You know, he ordered a bale of hay, made a stock out of, reduced it, and make all this crazy, you know, dishes. And you know, he even made one a steak and lobster, but it was a 6-ounce fillet with the lobster into made it to a caviar. Okay, and you guys, hopefully you guys are going to go to the next block in 201, and you're going to experiment molecular gastronomy. Anyways, he made it into a caviar. It was a beautiful dish, and it was priced accordingly. Now, what kind of comments do you think he got back from having the dish on the menu from the local community? How do you guys think it was perceived or received?
I mean, from my experience, whenever you do something like that, it's always been either a hit or a miss, depending on what it is, obviously. But I mean, it's usually pretty good because everybody's like, "Oh, this restaurant is supporting local other." Okay, someone's got to mute their screen. I can hear myself. Thank you. You like this restaurant supporting local farms. Let's help them out, and then it's just a whole movement style thing of everybody helping everybody out, you know.
So yeah, the comments that he got back that were not very friendly. That were asking, "Where's my lobster?" Because they wanted to see the whole lobster tail. They can cut it and dip it into the drawn butter. There was no lobster. It was all meant to caviar. So the community, you know, it was one of those things that, like I say, it was hit or miss. It was definitely a miss. very young, very talented, the right mind, but the wrong target market because they're elderly, retired, a lot of money. They didn't care for that. Even when we started making some salads, awesome knife skills, but the salads that he was putting out, people were asking, "Where's the salad?" They said, "Hit." I don't have a picture of a salad, but it didn't hit. So you got to know your target market so you can sell your product. Okay, and again, when you go in there, you can do your research and find out who your audience is going to be, so you can sell that menu. Otherwise, you're not going to survive, and you're not going to have any sales. You might have some, but not the way you intended to be. Okay. One of the first things you need to do is to refine your product or service so that you're not trying to be all things to all people. Become a specialist. For example, take a charter boat business. They know that there are plenty of fishing charter operations in the area, party boats as well. So they must decide to offer something different, such as sightseeing, special event charters that would not allow alcohol on board, or fishing rods. The system will eliminate the percentage of market, but also will give them a niche to capitalize on and expand the market in a way that other charter operators will not take advantage of. Okay. Think about the story that I told you guys not too long ago. Even as of yesterday, I was talking about Nahika Hillary, the Creole kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that here in Florida, right?
Chef, I remember her, by the way. I didn't recognize when you called her Hillary the last couple of days, but I remember Naika. I do.
She was
pretty smart.
She was in your foundations class. She was with Jimmy, Bobby, those guys. With Torch. She was in that class with Torch. Anyways, think about, how you're going to be successful. So if you're going to have a Tex-Mex restaurant and there's one right across from you, I don't know, right? Maybe. So you got to have something that's going to be sellable. You're going to draw those customers in, okay? Here in Cedar Park, there's two places. One is called Rosa's Cafe. It's on 1431, right next in front of Sports Academy. And there's another kind of Tex-Mex restaurant right across the street. It's called Dos Salsas. Same thing, Tex-Mex. But Dos Salsas, what they have, the advantage is that they have a full bar. So they're able to fill the restaurant from the bar. Remember that he was talking about the video, what he was talking about when you have you wait at the bar.
They spend money in there.
Because they're waiting for their table to be empty, right? And that's another trick. Oh, by the way, would you like to wait on the bar? Right?
So you spend money in there, and when you finally get your table, you've already had alcohol, and alcohol makes you hungry. So it's really multiplying a lot, actually.
Raising the check average, guys. Raising the check average. That's what it's all about, okay? Tap into the pocket, okay? Importance of having a niche in the market. Are you struggling with who your niche market is? If you answer yes, spend some time asking yourself the following questions. What is it that my current clients have in common? Who do I set myself apart from the competition? What is different about the services or products that I offer? What are the extras that I bring to the market? The best way to answer these questions is without analyzing them too much. Just write down whatever first comes to your mind. Once you've completed them, analyze the answer, and it will be easy to define your niche market, okay? So again, think about it, okay? What does your current clients have in common? How do you set yourself apart from the competition, right? Again, it's all about bottom line numbers, money, okay? You need to develop your target market as specifically as possible to market your product or service effectively. So think of your ideal client or customer as a person. Visualize him or her in detail. See what he or she does, think, and wants, okay? Own your project, okay? And I always say this pretty often. If you produce your menu, if I see it, what am I going to order out the menu? How many items? That should be your check average. Yes. I heard somebody had a question. Okay. So
I think Cameron was just letting you know that he's on now.
Yeah, letting you know what I mean. I just walked through the door.
All right. So again, what are we going to order from your menu? That should be your check average. Okay. If you can't visualize this person clearly, distinctly, then you need to research your potential customer or client until you can, because until you can define your target market, you won't be able to make the decision that you need to be made out of the marketing, such as how, where, and when to advertise. Reach your target audience more precisely. Okay. Need to remember the story I was telling you guys about a couple of students that graduated. They have the the Caribbean Shack, Shack Caribbean, up in Harker Heights. Beautiful place, nice and clean.
I don't know what it's called again, Chef. What is it again?
The Caribbean Shack, I believe. It's a seafood restaurant, but it's not Puerto Rican. It's not. It just Caribbean.
I think that place just opened.
Yeah, it's been open for like about a year or so, not too long.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty clean, and it's they have an awesome food. But again, it's their marketing is not that strong. They need to fill that restaurant. Again, you need to drive at least 20 minutes to get there, 20 minutes to get there. Okay. So target market, so you can generate more sales, more profit. What about know about insomnia cookies? Okay, we're talking about cookies yesterday, right?
Yes, and San Marcos, they're good.
What about insomnia cookies? Most stores deliver from 10 a.m. to 3 a.m. Monday through Friday, and noon 3 a.m. On weekends. Noon 3 a.m. on weekends. Usually found in college towns, will deliver for hot, fresh cookies. Student coming off all night from exams, right?
I have to say their cookies are to die for. Like, if you haven't tried them, you definitely need to try them.
Who that, James?
Their cookies are to die for.
Who?
Like, Insomnia cookies. They are spot on. Like, yeah.
I agree.
And look at the deliveries. What time do they deliver?
Till probably when you're asleep.
And again, because when you're in college cramming for their exam, you're going to get hungry. You don't want to leave your dorm. You don't want to leave the library. So you want some food to be delivered to you that is nice, fresh, comfy, and is going to keep you going, because what's in a cookie? Sugar, right?
That has to appeal to drunk people.
Yeah, that too. Right? Cookies, insomnia cookies. I haven't had them yet, but I'm sure will. Okay.
There's another one. It's a pizza joint called Toppers.
Mm-hmm.
They do something similar. Like they open different hours than you would normally think for a pizza restaurant, and then they go to like 3 a.m. as well. I think the only one is in either Houston. I think it's in Houston, and we had one in North Carolina. And you can put anything you can imagine on that pizza, like tater tots, nacho, crisps, jalapeno, like whatever you want, they will put on there for you.
Back a while ago, before I even know about marketing and all this crazy stuff, there was a food truck in close to the house where I used to live at in Long Beach, right? And it was about 2 blocks away from a Catholic church. We used to go on Sundays. And then it was right next door to a Mexican bar. And they would only open at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they would close at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Excellent target market, right?
Yes, yeah.
Because when you go to the bar, like Chef Gary said, you're going to drink, you're going to get hungry, right? And they're right outside the door. Awesome street tacos, the best ones I ever had so far. But again, they're open late until 3 o'clock in the morning, because they want the target audience is those drunks coming out of the bar at 2 o'clock in the morning when the bar closes. And they were always packed, especially Friday and Saturday. I remember. Okay. Target markets is divided into 4 categories: geographic, demographic, psychographic, and behavioral. Okay. Geographic: city, state, community, address, climate, region. Demographic: gender, age, income, occupation, education, household size. Psychographic: similar to or different attitudes, values, and lifestyles. Behavioral: product loyalty and brand loyalty. We're just talking about insomnia cookies, right? So that's behavioral. You say you swear that they're the best cookies, they're awesome. Okay, product loyalty. Or if you have two kind of cookies next to each other, and one of them happens to be inside the cookie, you're going to go for the inside it because you had it before. Okay.
Hey, Chef, I got a question for our students. Did you guys ever hear of somebody called Yuppies?
No.
Yuppies, Yuppies. Anybody heard of that?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
What's it mean?
I think it's like a Southern term for like city slickers.
No, it was young urban.
First person, well-paid job, I believe.
It was young urban professionals. So that if you're a restaurant operator or a real estate person or whatever, you might be, that'd be one of the possible groups you might be looking to sell something to, right? Young urban professionals. It meant that a lot of times it was a couple. There was probably two incomes in the family. They might have kids, so you have to think about that depending upon what exact neighborhood you're in and how old they really are and things like that. So that's what we call a demographic term. Has somebody ever heard of something called TINKs, T-I-N-K? What's a TINK? A TINK is a family, two incomes, no kids. So two people working, no kids. Some couples chose not to have kids. Some gay couples used to not have kids. And so there was a lot of household income or I shouldn't say household income. There was a lot of spendable income, disposable income, right? So these are terms that a demographer uses to discuss the target markets. And you don't always have a target market that's all one group, like all Yuppies or all Tinks or something like that, but your possible market is made up of different groups, and then you have to know a little bit about each group or get the help of someone who does know in order to help figure out if what you want to do will fit in a certain market or tailor what you're going to do to fit in a certain market.
Thanks. I've never heard that one before.
Two income, no kids. Yeah.
Two incomes, no kids. That's a new one. So
that was from probably that term was a thing in the 1990s, but I'll bet you if you're a demographer today, there's new terms like that floating around, different things adding up to a different weird sounding word we haven't heard from before, that it means a certain thing to somebody who knows how to count populations and figure on restaurant success, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geographic segmentation involves a business dividends and is market on the basis of geographic. You can divide your market by geographic areas, such as by neighborhood, city, county, state, region, or West Coast, country, or international regions, such as Asia. You can also divide the market to rural, suburbans, and urban market segments. You can also segment a market to climate or total population in each area. So let me ask you guys, have you guys thought of where you want to have your business, your project?
We need to decide for the project you're saying, or?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I haven't thought about that. I thought you were saying if we actually legitimately wanted to open a place, and I honestly have no idea.
Clearwater, Florida.
Okay. Anybody, give me a zip code. I'm sharing the screen with you guys, right? The website is city-data.com. Give me a zip code.
78006.
78006.
06.
Okay, here we go. Okay. There is your demographics numbers, okay? Estimated population, what is it? Out of 2017, 32,000. Zip code in 2010, 27, and 2019, 19,000. Housing condos, 12,462. Rented occupied apartments, 3,108. Percent. Yes.
Question: is this for like finding out a good spot to put a good location to put a restaurant?
Correct.
Yeah, this is about understanding population, family size, household size, income, things like that in the area you're thinking of targeting for a restaurant. Yeah.
So, with that being said, I remember talking to my manager back in St. Louis. He was saying it's best to get places close to off highways, malls, theaters. Like back home, we had a steakhouse right across the street from the Fox Theater. It was packed after every event that was there. It was packed. They made a killing.
Right. Cameron, you think about things like that. You think about all kinds of things. How much money do they make? How many people? How busy is the street you want to be on? There are also restaurants that don't try to be on a busy street. There are restaurants that go out in the boondocks, find a beautiful setting in the woods, and have a rustic-looking fireplace and a wood grill outside underneath a stone and cedar canopy. And people drive out there 40 miles to pay a lot of money to be in a really cool place that's not right around the corner. It's they call it a destination restaurant. So it's not always all about having, the busiest location, but it's about having busy or a place with a special appeal or something that you have good reasons to believe might attract the crowd.
So here's your demographics on age, right? 40s to 50s, right? Here's the population, 25 years and over. Okay. High school or higher, 96%. Bachelor's degree, 42%. Graduate or professional degree, 13.1. Unemployment, 3. Well, that's changed. Okay. What about races? Okay, here's another chart. Okay. You got white plus 2 of the races, black, Hispanic, Asian, American Indian. Okay. Here's the where it is located at. Okay. Urban average tax year. Okay. It gives you all the information you need to figure out where you're going to land your concept and how you're going to make it sustainable. Where you're going to draw the business, your customer, your target audience. Who is it that you're going to target? Okay. So remember that if I was you, I'll write it down. City-data.com. CITY, the actual dash, data, DATA.com. It'll pull up everything and anything you ever want to know, even from another state, another city, all the demographic parts, and even the income. What's the household median income? So you need to know that, because if you're going to open up your restaurant, if you're going to be a casual, who is your target audience? Who are you going to have come into your restaurant and fill it up to sustain your business, right? So city-data.com, okay? Let me see another one. 110111, okay?
By the way, Chef, that restaurant that I just described a moment ago that was a destination where if you were out there, you'd maybe almost never see a car go by. It was so far out there. But if you go there on a Friday night, the place would be packed and there'd be cars all around the place, and they're driving from a far, far distance. A lot of them from San Antonio, from other places, and it happened to be a place called the Gray Moss Inn, and it was about 25 miles west or southwest of Boerne, which is the zip code we're discussing right now. Mm-hmm. It was like if you got a flat tire out there and you didn't have a spare, you'd be worried how long you'd be there before some help came along. But you went to that little restaurant on Friday night, the place was hopping. People were driving to go there. It was not an accident when people went to that place.
Here's North Carolina, okay? The age between 25 and 45, okay? So again, this is something, it's a tool for you guys to take a look at and figure out where your target audience is, the median income, the sales, the household taxes, when they were filed, and so forth, so on. It's an awesome tool for you guys to utilize, okay? So demographics, right? Again, demographic segmentation, we just went over that real briefly, real quick, okay? You can keep that and do some research and find out if your business is going to be sustainable. Is it going to be stay alive? Because what if you're going to put it someplace else that, you know, you're not going to have a lot of customers drawn to your business. I had a student who, between not San Marcos, Lockhart, and somewhere in Bastrop, he wanted to have his concept restaurant because his thought was delivery, okay, food delivery. And there was nobody that was doing food delivery. I think he said the only restaurant that was around was KFC in the gas station. So he was right on the market because, again, in looking ahead in the future, that Lockhart could grow so much, and also Bastrop is growing too. So he can be right on the prime spot, given about 5, 10, 15 years from now, he can be sitting pretty comfortable, generating a lot of sales. Okay. So demographic segmentation includes age, gender, family size, family's life cycle, income, occupation, education, nationality, race, and religion. And again, city-data.com will give you all that information you need. Okay. What is a target customer demographic profile? Demographics are extremely important for targeted marketing. Obviously, you not want to be marketing skateboard to seniors or expensive furniture at low-income housing community, or put a pie shop in the bottom of a large downtown building when clients are wishing they had a quick spot to grab a lunch. Establish the demographic profile of the target market. How old are they? What is their gender? What is their marital status? Do they have any children? If so, how old? Where do they live? How is their income level, net worth? How do they spend their money? Frugal, extravagant? Okay. This type of in-depth analysis is essential if you want to flesh out the greater detail the profile of your target audience is. Okay. Psychographic segmentation includes social class, culture, lifestyles, personality. Who are you going to cater to? Okay. You know, Town Lake. Who's your customer? Healthy people, maybe some vegans, fitness gurus, fitness people that like to run, walk. Okay. So how are you going to devise something to sell it to them? Okay. Psychographic segmentation is dividing your market based upon consumer personality traits, values, attitudes, interests, and lifestyles. People have different interests, attitudes, and traits. For example, some people really care about the environment, while other people don't. Some people are very fitness and health conscious, while others are foodies. Some people take sports very seriously, while some just want to have some fun on the weekends. Psychographic segmentation occurs when you break your market down along this interest and attitudes so you can market the appropriate product to each segment of the market. Okay. What are the target customers' lifestyle attitudes? Lifestyles and attitudes are also important when determining your customer profile. Working folks have lifestyles, priorities, and constraints of their time, and they may retire. People don't have to. Is your audience employed or retired? How do they like to spend their spare time? What are their hobbies? What are their shopping habits? What are the products that they buy? Where do they go on vacation? How the web offers a wealth of information from various sources that can provide up with a data market researching the customer trends. Behavioral segmentations, purchase occasion, benefit sought, user status, usage rate, loyalty status, readiness stage, attitude towards product. Okay. You guys ever heard the term keeping up with the Joneses?
Yes, yeah.
Sorry, that picture of the car with the bow tie attached to it reminded me of that, because you got families that are competitive, so they want to, they want up the game. So, if you have a target audience that has a residential area that has a lot of money, that there are the Joneses, you're going to have a good business sales. You're going to have a good revenue coming in, okay? Because they want to spend the money.
If you want that money, you gotta provide what they want food-wise, and you got to figure out what other places provide in terms of competition for what you are thinking of doing.
Behavioral segmentation is the way the population responds to user of a product. Buying on occasions is the first form of behavioral segmentations. Products like chocolates, premium foods will sell in festivals. Confectioners will sell them where there's a party. So the products are generally targeted by behavioral segmentations, right? So are you going to have a little cupcake pastry location where you have what I'm trying to say, at a mall it'll sell, like those Cinnabons will sell. What about at a place that has a lot of retirees? Are they going to be able to, are they going to go want and buy some of these products? Probably not, because they're probably watching their health. They can't have their sugar levels up too high. Or a candy store. So behavioral segmentation, the best example of targeting buying on locations is Hallmark cards, greeting cards for all locations. The primary targeting of Hallmark was that be it any occasion, you will find the right card. This way you have the perfect option to express yourself. That's one behavioral segmentation. So behavioral segmentations, benefits sought, okay? Benefits sought, several products targeted towards the benefits sought by customers. There is a war between Crest and Colgate, Sensodyne to target people with sensitive teeth. Other toothpaste are targeted towards whitening teeth. Hair shampoos target towards split ends, anti-dandruff, and others. Loyalty status, there are groups who will buy only certain products or name brands. What about you guys? Are you guys fall into this category?
No, I don't have dandruff.
No, but it could be as simple as, look, this is the only bottle of water that I buy. I don't drink any other one. Sometimes I drink the Dasani, but again, it's supposed to be made in Texas, right?
These are examples. This is a great example of how, you know, you got lots and lots of toothpaste marketed in the United States, but if you look at these three big brands here, I'm not sure the difference between Crest and Colgate marketing-wise, but Sensodyne is a very different thing from Crest and Colgate, right? Sensodyne is marketed towards people who have sensitive teeth, so they're not really looking for necessarily the person that's trying to have the whitest teeth, like Pearl Drops or one of those. They're not looking for the person who just wants a good, solid, middle-of-the-road toothpaste that they can use for a long time. Sensodyne is looking to find the person who needs that particular type of toothpaste in order to make their gums less sensitive when they brush their teeth. They probably don't have the same target market at all as the other toothpaste manufacturers. So that's an example how you might set your own restaurant apart. I'm not saying you're selling toothpaste. I am saying you're looking to find the crowd that you can sell to, and if you get the right setup, the right situation, you have something in a market, you're offering something in a market that doesn't have too much other competition, and there's a need. If there's a need and you got it and you're the only one or one of only a few, you might have a pretty good shot at success, right?
So behavioral segmentation, you know, I live in Cedar Park, right? 1431 and 183. When I moved here in 2013, there was no Costco. There was not a lot of stores that were open now. It was definitely not a dealership, auto dealership in town. You had to drive into North Austin to buy your car. Now there is Nissan Cedar Park, right on the prime location. You know, when I drive around, I see a lot of cars that have the Nissan Cedar Park Nissan license plates frame on it. They hit the target market right on the spot. So did Costco too, because Cedar Park is expanding, it's growing, it's getting bigger. And they've been thinking of putting, they're on the works of expanding a shopping location like the Domain here in right where H-E-B and Walmart are located, right at 1431, and is it Palmer or Palmer Lane? So yeah, they're on the right market. And guess what? With all the Costco is not low end, it's high end. So is the Walmart that they built is huge, is clean, is brand new. There, a lot of businesses are expanding, and people that that are looking into having a restaurant here, they are going to be in the right location, because as businesses are expanding and popping up, so is residential areas. Homes are being built, apartments here close to the library and the police station. A whole new apartment complexes went up. Okay, so definitely they have the right location. So behavioral segmentation, you got to look at what they buy and how you're going to target that market. Okay. What else? So how do you find target market? Your target market, in a nutshell, defining your target customers means identifying the specific characteristics of the people or business who you believe are most likely to buy your product or service. These characteristics are sometimes called demographic profile. Common characteristics used to classify customers include age, gender, income level, buying habits, occupation or industry, marital status, family status, kids or no kids, geographic location, ethnic group, political affiliations, leanings, and hobbies and interests. Okay, so you should look into that when you start looking into your project and really dig into where you might have your restaurant open at and what kind of food and what kind of theme so you can generate more profit. Okay. Who is your ideal target person? After you look out for the demographics, be able to describe your target person. Are there more males in your area or females? Are they working class, hippie, yuppie, okay, families, elderly? Do they like to exercise? Are they foodies? Where do they live? And what does this person want from a restaurant? Like an example, downtown Austin, most of the population is men, 24 to 30, work in offices, doing tech or finance. They are energetic, work out, don't cook, hang out with friends, etc. So name him. Okay, let's have an example. Okay, we're gonna name one of these individuals. John, 26 years old, good shape, physically works at a bank, loves to eat out, quick because he doesn't like to cook, makes good money, enjoys riding his bike around downtown, etc. So be able to exactly describe John once you have done this. You know your target market is, and you can tell your products to meet his tendencies, right?
Hey, Chef, yes. I know where he gets coffee and where he meets friends and where he hopes to meet a sweetheart. I know where he goes because I've been listening to this ad on the radio station that I listen to. They talk about this place called the Meteor, and it's like a kind of upscale fancy coffee shop. And here's what they say. This will give you an example of how a business tries to market a certain group. They say, at the end of their ad, they say, the Meteor, champagne, espresso, chain lube. What the hell? Champagne, sounds fancy, right? Espresso, more fancy, right? So it's coffee that has a nice twist and you can charge bucks for it. And chain lube, what the hell does chain lube have to do with it, you guys? Why chain lube?
Biker friendly?
Yeah, right in here and get some chain lube, or even have an appointment to get your bike worked on right in here, and then sit down, drink 10 bucks worth of coffee or champagne or something, have a couple appetizers also while you get your bike worked on. Sounds kind of funny, but here we are, a place with a barista with cool coffee drinks. They got a champagne. They must have some food to eat with it. You know they got something to sell you if you want food, and you can have them lube up your chain for 5 or 10 bucks or do some small service on your bike. Sounds smart to me.
It's all right. Chain lube, not bad. Okay.
So their motto is champagne, espresso, chain lube. It seems to me they're shooting right at this guy we're talking about here. Yeah.
Any thoughts? Okay. So John, 26, now you know where he hangs out, what he does. So that's your target. You need to tap into his pocket. He's again, keyword banker, right? You got to jack him for his cash money, C notes, their presidents, greenbacks, right? Once you have all this information, weave it together and answer these 5 questions. Who are they? This one should be pretty easy and straightforward after all your demographic research. Are they mostly older or younger? What is their income bracket? What do they order? It may seem obvious, but many restaurants skip this important question because they think that we've answered it with their inventory. But do you know that they tend to opt for happy hours or late night specials more than often? Also, how do they feel about the food? Just because they're ordering, it doesn't mean they liked it, and reviews are key. Reviews, Yelp, right? What else? Can you take a look at online and find reviews about a certain restaurant before you go and shop around?
I think just Google Maps. I think that's one of them. Like, people can just do it on Google. I don't really know the other ones.
Mm-hmm. And you can start looking at the reviews, see if that's one of the tools. You can take a look at the market and find out what they say about certain places that are in the area you're looking to open up a restaurant, and how you're going to tap and make have the advantage of over them. That is called the SWOT analysis: strength, weaknesses, and other threats. Because what is your strengths from theirs? What are your weaknesses? What are the other threats? Okay.
Chef, are we requiring a SWOT analysis in this class?
We're going to be talking about it.
Are we requiring them to turn one in?
No. We're going to talk about it briefly. It's more required in entrepreneurship. They're going to go into that part. Okay. When did they visit? While long lines and reservation queues can be one of the figuring out this out. The more sophisticated tools you employ to really understand this, the better. How long do they stay? It's important to know not only when you're busy at times are, but how long do they stay and what are the certain times that they stay longer? Why do they come back? Your secret sauce reveal? Some of the many choices out there for dining and drinking. What keeps them coming back to your restaurant? Specifically, why are they going to come back to your restaurant? What is it that you have that they want, they can get? Okay. So information is power, and knowing your demographics is critical to maximizing your chances, realizing your goals, and achieving success when you become a restaurant owner. Don't go in blindly because you're not going to know your demographics. Daniel from Barbecue Sauce didn't know anything about demographics, right? He just knew he was in the middle of the highway between two cities, and there was a lot of traffic in and out, right? But he didn't know his target audience. Okay.
I got a question for you guys. This will sound funny. Could you just back your car up into a corner in that parking lot and sit back and run the AC with a notepad on you and just watch from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and every time a car pulls up and people get out, maybe you look at 50 cars or 100 cars and you just write down, okay, 30s, husband and wife, looks like 3 kids, okay. Next car, looks like late 60s. Husband and wife, also son and daughter-in-law maybe, or whatever. I mean, take a wild guess, but you can see who's getting out of the car, right? So it's kind of a slow, boring, pain in the butt thing to do, but you can start to get an idea who's eating in an existing restaurant. And you will do weirder things than that to figure out who's really paying money for food in a given restaurant. Right? You might find out there's some customers in the neighborhood that you're not looking for. Depends upon what you're trying to accomplish and who you want to try to sell to, right?
Yes, Chef, you can.
In a show that I watched that did exactly that.
Sorry?
There's a scene in a show that I watch, and one of the characters did exactly that. She's buying a business, and so she's in the parking lot writing down all the business that came through that day.
Sure. If she get back tomorrow morning, sit down, look at that over a cup of coffee, and she can see some trends in there or see kind of how the customers are grouped up, you know? I mean, example would be, well, I saw 19 couples with kids between, 19 two-person couples with kids between, I don't know, 5 and 13. Give you a pretty good idea who's coming in there or whatever she happened to notice. Yeah.
Good to think about, guys, right?
Yes, Chef.
So things you should know about the restaurant menus. Create a restaurant menu that will make your customers hungry for more. When they leave, you want them to leave nice, fulfilled, and satisfied, but also remember the experience that they had in your food. You wanted to come back to your restaurant and have some more. Remember the story I was telling you guys about a while ago, the first week? About the Thanksgiving brunch, Mother's Day brunch, how it wasn't just about the food, but the next year our business grew because the food that we provide, they wanted so bad. They again, our reservations grew. Okay, the ideal restaurant menu offers a balance of unique dishes and old favorites. Consider the basic burger. You can offer in a classic form, plain with American cheese. You can also offer a unique version, one that fits the restaurant theme with such a topping of burger with guacamole, pepper jack cheese, maybe in a Mexican restaurant. You know, when I think about a burger restaurant, I think of Hot Dotties, right? You guys ever been to Hot Dotties?
I try not to think about them.
Yeah,
I used to work there.
How was it?
It was good. I just like cooking with pots and pans. That's why I left.
So I'm impressed with how they make everything from scratch. They're making burgers and they're making buns, and they make their own no gluten buns, which is really impressive to me because there's a lot of folks now that don't want to eat gluten. So you can actually get a hamburger, right? So there's a lot that's good about it. It's expensive as hell. I'm not really in the habit of paying $22 for a burger and a beer, or 24. So that's kind of weird to me. But out the door and around the parking lot, what the hell do I know? If it's going like that, then it's working for them. I should let them do it, right? Yeah, and this idea about cool specialty burgers, that's been around a long time. Texas, Central Texas is famous for something called a bean burger. And they literally smear refried beans on one half of the bun, and they smash that thing face down in a pan full of crushed Fritos. Anybody heard of this?
Yes, chef.
And they put cheddar.
That was my grandma's favorite.
Picante sauce, loads of jalapenos. It's fantastic, and it's pretty hard to eat one without about 3 beers. They don't sell them for $5 like a Whataburger does. That sucker makes some money. And I've seen a restaurant chain literally build more new locations just on the financial power that was coming out of a crap load of bean burgers and things a lot like that.
Is that a Stanley's Burger?
Sorry?
That Stanley's Burger? Because back in Wichita, the Stanley's Burger, that's what they were real famous for, was the beanie burgers.
Right. Well, this wasn't that place, but it was along those kind of lines. Nice atmosphere, nice looking young servers, music a little on the loud side, wide selection of beers available, big long bar. They were probably hoping to sell 40% of their sales as alcohol and bar sales. And nothing was too, like you could get a ribeye for not a whole lot of money. Back in those days, like a ribeye was $20 where it might be 30 somewhere else. But you could not get a hamburger for $5. A hamburger was $8. So there's what they call menu price compression, or compression theory on menu price. The low stuff is not very low and the high stuff is not very high. Everything is designed to make money, and they sell the daylights out of it and move a lot of it through. And that's how that particular machine makes money. Ain't no $6 burger in that place, you know?
Think of another burger joint. It's in Barn Spring Roads, and I think it's Lamar. It's been there for quite a while. It's called Sandy. What is it called?
Sandy. Yes, chef. Sandy's.
Sandy's Burgers, right? Awesome place. You drive up. Even it's a drive-through. You park and you order your burgers. You wait. They cook it to you, and you go on them out.
Chef, I'm sad to say it, but I'm afraid, if I'm on Google right now and check it out for us, but I'm afraid to say that I think they closed recently. It was there a long time. It had a hell of a good run, but real estate's real expensive down there now. So sometimes that'll drive out an old popular place in the end, you know.
Yeah, I went there last 2 years ago, and there was great burgers. Okay?
Yeah. So
again, burgers, right? Even a burger can be an awesome thing to buy and have your restaurant. Okay. What about this menu? Okay, take a look at this menu. What do you guys think about this menu? Ms. Josie, you were asking about pictures, right? What do you think about this menu with pictures?
Chef Miguel,
yes.
I think with the pictures, like it shows how much quality they're actually putting into their food, not, you know, it's not just something that's slapped together. You know, I've been to restaurants that don't put pictures up, and so you don't know really what you're getting until it's on the table, and it's frustrating, and it makes you go, well, dang. Or especially if it's not as good as you thought it was going to be, and then they bring it to the table and you're like, well, what is that? I paid for that? That's ridiculous.
It's disappointing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's appealing, and it makes you want to buy it.
Well, I think that's one way to set a standard for quality. I guess that means if your cook doesn't know what food is, at least your cook can see what food looks like. I don't think that makes it a great restaurant, but it does work for some places. Like I've worked places and have friends that run kitchens where there's never going to be a picture on the menu. It's just never going to happen, you know, because they don't need it. Their cooks don't need it. That's not that kind of place. Just a different animal is all.
Yes, chef.
Why are the starters $22?
Bingo, right? There you go. $22. Why? Fish, chips.
I'm not going to eat there.
Potato wedge, this is in New York, maybe. Potato wedge, cheese chips, carrot pup udon. Okay. It's different, right? Good eye. Okay. So check out the competition, right? Always check out the competition. depending on the size of the city or town you're situated in. The customer's choice can come down to your place at one corner of the block, and another establishment just 2 blocks over. 8 out of 10 diners choose a restaurant within 10 minutes from home. So a good rule of thumb is to know what other restaurants are with 10 minutes from your door. Okay, so that's a good way to look at it, guys. Okay, 10 minutes from your door. Okay, since 97, wow, 1997. Good burgers. So if they're still open, you know, if you guys want to have a good burger, if you're in town, stop by and swing by, and if they're open, just order a burger, and it's a good place. Okay. Take a little time to find out what those other guys are up to with their menus. You want diners to come through your door, not one of the others. Assess prices, themes, cuisine. Find out when they typically offer to dine for specials. They design your menu to go and head to head with theirs and win, considering offering something they don't. Okay, so with this little segment right here, guys. Okay, and again, when you go shop around and take a look at your competition, I was in a spot a while ago, and again, some place where they have that very highly skilled executive sous that did a lot of molecular gastronomy cuisine. Again, the place is in Lake Travis. It's in Lakeway, so it's community, it's retirement, it's a golfing community. And then they were telling us to the new management that came and took over the property. They had gone to have lunch or dinner at Jack Allen's in Oak Hill at the Y, and I knew exactly where the location was. I used to live in Oak Hill back in the days. And that place wasn't called Jack Allen's, it was called the Y Bar and Grill. And I saw that place going up from the ground up because actually they bought the land, they erected the building, they built everything from scratch. Anywho, he was very thrilled about Jack Allen's and the cuisine of the menu, so he wanted to for our menu to mirror or be similar to what Jack Allen's, because when they went to Jack Allen's at Dubai, remember, we are in Lakeway. Jack Allen's is in Southwest Austin, Oak Hill. So we went, and the place, sure enough, it was packed. They had live music. It was on a Tuesday. They were packed. There was no parking space outside. The place is maybe held about maybe 70 or 80 customers, seating arrangements. The menu was great. It was Tex-Mex with some kind of a flair. We ordered
Jack Allen's, chef?
Jack Allen's, the original in Oak Hill. Yeah, there's one up here in North or Mud Rock, I think.
Yeah, they got them all over the place now, yeah.
Yeah. So we went there, and the food was great. It was good. We took pictures, we took notes, and we came back. And that's where the boss wanted to go through. He wanted for our menu to be somewhat like Jack Allen's. So we started, coming with some ideas, not duplicate their food, but similar or to what they had on their menu. Well, it didn't work because Jack Allen's, again, the location that they were at, they were pulling customers from Circle C Ranch. They have a lot of money. They were pulling customers from Dripping Springs, pulling customers from the Y, certain locations that people drive 10 minutes from to go to the restaurant. At Lakeway, the only people that live here, they live there was the elderly, the retirees. To go to Lakeway from Austin, you need to drive about 45 minutes west of Austin to get there. So we're not pulling from the downtown Austin market. We're pulling from within Lakeway and the surrounding community. So it was different. Needless to say, it didn't stick and it didn't hit. So that idea was scratched.
Hey, Chef, did you find that that Lakeway crowd at their age also, are they a little bit more tight with the checkbook?
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Again, retirees. They didn't get there by overspending and being careless over their checkbooks.
Here's a thing to think about, Chef. I know you know this as well. At least for a good bit of the time you and I've been working, the spendy crowd used to always be the 25 to 40-year-olds. When they're 22, 23, they're just out of school. They barely got their first job yet. Maybe it's not a great job yet. When they're 25 to 30, they're kind of hitting a stride and starting to make some money, and they're starting to make social connections. When they're 30, they really got some cash coming, and now they want to be part of some social circle. They want to be in the dating world. They want to have happy hour, and it gets spendy. And when they're 40, 45, they got kids in grade school, and they're starting to think about college, and their spending starts to taper off. 25 to 40 is where they're really spending money if you want to sell alcohol and food to the same crowd and sell a lot of it at slightly fat prices. 25 to 40. Did I mention 25 to 40?
Something to think about, guys. The target market. Who's your audience? Who is going to support your business? Who are you going to draw to come into your restaurant and eat your food? Okay.
Yeah.
Your menu should be a manageable size. Avoid the temptation to offer a huge selection of items. You'll inevitably be tossing food at the end of the night. So also consider what your restaurant kitchen is capable of producing. Are there enough stations to offer grill items, sauté dishes, salads, soups, or baked goods? So have you guys ever been to the Cheesecake Factory?
One time, chef, myself.
No. Yes.
No, chef.
Anybody else been there?
Yeah, their menu's extensive. They have like every time I go, it's like, what should I eat? They have pages after pages of like different kinds of food, and it's overwhelming to see like what to pick.
Yeah, you got to look and look and look to finally choose something, right?
Yeah.
Brick chicken is my favorite.
So what chicken?
It's called the brick chicken.
The brick chicken. Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
The menu is like an encyclopedia, pretty much, right? It's a booklet with pages and pages, right?
Yeah, they got paragraphs for each dish, damn near.
And also, too, what's on their tabletops? What do they have aside from the napkins, the salt and pepper?
Bread.
Well, yeah. Table tents, a couple more menus.
Table talkers.
Yeah, our presentation today calls them table talkers, right?
Table talkers, I call them table tents. Table talkers.
It's something on the table to sell almost anything, more wine, extra appetizers. Maybe they say something about maybe you're in there on Thursday night and they got a thing that says come back for brunch on Sunday. Anything, right, chef?
Yep. The Cheesecake Factory is a prime example of how the menu is huge and is big. When I used to go there, I went to one in California back in the 90s, and I went here a couple of years ago to the one at the Arboretum, and I was sitting down, and it dawned on me, it's like, holy cow, how big is their kitchen? How big is their inventory? How big is their staff? What are the labor dollars running into? Okay.
That's a monster. I don't want to run a kitchen like that, chef. By the way, I'm not saying it can't work, but what big chain just went out of business in the last few days? You probably heard about it, everybody, that famously had a very big, long menu, at least some years ago they used to. It was like 40, 45-page menu. Took you quite a while to speed through it and try to find something you wanted to eat. What place was that? What chain, I should say? TGI Fridays. They kept some, but they closed a lot of, they announced this week they're closing a lot of locations at TGI Fridays. I think that can work, but when business falls off a little bit, that big mise en place list, those big wide menu choices and stuff, that gets pretty tough.
TGI Fridays, Punch Bowl, Socials, a lot of places are closing down. And even the Cheesecake Factory was announced not too long ago that they were not going to be able to pay their leases to the the owners because they're empty. They got no business. And a menu that big, I can just imagine the army of people that they have in the back. So when you think about your restaurant, the concept, 15 items is not bad. It's manageable, it's good. But when you start adding more and more and more and have I always say this, with all the respect, the story of Jesus Christ on the menu, then you run into problems because, when I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about, okay, what's the seating capacity, number one? I'm looking at the menu, the prices, not just because I don't want to spend money. When I go out to eat, I want to be able to enjoy myself, not think about, how much it's costing me. If I'm pressing a date, that's fine too. But thinking about that and also thinking about what it takes to order the food, the storage space in the back of the kitchen? What about the line staff? The army of cooks they gotta have, the equipment they gotta have. What about their food costs, their servers? It just, again, just those numbers start popping in my head. I'm like,
There's a lot of refrigeration, a lot of space, a lot of cleanup, a lot of janitorial, a lot of equipment maintenance. People have to come in and clean the filters and clean the coils and so forth, change filters on refrigeration. So if your menu is huge and your kitchen is very, very limited, you're going to be constantly squeezed and under pressure, and having too many things crowded in a small area. It's going to be hard for the cooks to move quickly. So you need to have a kitchen that's big enough to handle if you're going to have a extensive menu with a lot of dishes and do a lot of business. So you go ahead.
Quick question. I know that y'all are talking about the menus and how extensive and how it's better to have a less extensive one. How would it work if you did like a rotating menu? Like I knew a restaurant that did like a 10 item menu, and then like I'd say every 3 weeks he switched it and rotated and gave them a different variety of different things, and then he would keep like one of the favorites on the list.
Right. At some point, you move into a new season, Daniel, and then something that was popular during the summer, it's not really right anymore, agriculturally or whatever. And so you kind of slow down on the ratatouille and start to pick up on the fall vegetables, for example, or that works. It takes a little bit of daily managing. Chef Miguel, you mentioned that a day or two ago. You said it kind of drove you bonkers. Sometimes you didn't feel like you had the creativity for it, right? But I felt that way sometimes when I was in those places. But it can work pretty well if there's some effort by the kitchen management every day to focus a little bit on what's coming, in the next few weeks and so forth. And it kind of can help you prevent boredom in your customers too. If you just got the same thing every day, all the time, that gets old.
Usually a menu, it changes with the season, winter, summer, and fall. So you got 3 seasons. You can change it 4 times a year. That's fine. When you do a rotational menu or a de jour menu that is done maybe on a 2-week basis, that's fine too. But when it comes on an everyday basis, it becomes sometimes of a barren because you run out of ideas. So it can be done, and you're gonna, if you do it on a weekly basis, you're probably better off because the product that you bought on Monday, you're not gonna be able to sell it on Tuesday if you run that menu Tuesday. So you got to need a few more days to push it out the door because you don't want to be sitting on the dead end stock in your coolers.
Another way you can deal with that, Chef, is keep a very good, carefully chosen menu, but have it be a small menu. Your main menu doesn't change every day. It's just you got the same stuff every day, but the menu's small. And the way you make it bigger is you use your blackboards or your white marker boards. And like you said, in a place you work, every evening you got some kind of a fish or a catch that's a little different. Every evening you got a shellfish on the menu of some kind. Every evening you got one more beef or pork dish. So you got maybe a 7 or 8 or 9 core items on your menu that don't change too much, but you always got a couple of things that you're changing every day according to what you got left over, what you want to use up, what you found a good deal on that you can sell easily and make money. That's a very fun way to cook. That was my favorite place, where we change little things every day like that.
You get more creativity. You can push products out the door and be seasonally and more fresh and more flavorful too.
Keep your cooks happy too. They're not all bored with the same stuff all the time that way.
Right. So menus should be manageable size. And I'm not saying, you cannot have a Cheesecake Factory, the story of Jesus Christ menu. You can do so if you have an army to run it, dishwashers, army equipment, storage space, all the products, and you have the business to sustain it. If not, you're going to run into problems because you're going to have no space. Product's going to go dead. You're going to then throw it in the trash. You're going to get overproduced. So there's a lot that goes into it, running that kind of operation. So manageability also means not overwhelming your customers with choices. Too many options can confuse people, or worse, it can be subconsciously stress them a little bit. So keep your dishes to 7 or 8 in each category section. 7 or 8 is fine. You guys have a project of 15, 5, and 5. That is manageable. That is really good. That is a good entry to the menu concept. Okay, your menu should be easy to read. Okay, so when you start looking at your menu or your items, should be easy to read. Hard to read fonts and too much text, can make it difficult for patrons to take in the list of your offerings. Again, you don't want to overwhelm them. Keep your menu design simple and avoid using too much culinary jargon. Say bite-sized hors d'oeuvres rather than amuse-bouche. If your restaurant is elegant in French, you can always use amuse-bouche in the description, but keep them in the caption as simple. Even amuse-bouche can be something that you offer at the beginning without even putting it on the menu. Just something like a little freebie to entice the palate of your customers coming in. Okay. A menu with print so small that it takes your diner's squint is definitely a turn off. As this is one that is so big it is clumsy to handle. What about this one? What do you guys think?
There's something to think about on a menu with that many items, right? You have to get your font so small it gets harder to read. Who is that difficult for? Ladies and
Older
gentlemen?
people.
Huh?
Older people that can't see very well.
What are you saying? Right? I mean, you know, when you're a little older, if the print is small, or you have not much contrast, like you got gold writing on brown paper, or the atmosphere is a little darker, romantic, whatever you want to call it, and the lighting's a little bit lower, that could be a giant pain in the ass. You get out your cell phone and trying to put your flashlight on it and everything. So menus got to be friendly to your customer in ways that some people have not thought of yet. Red writing on a blue menu, terrible.
Yep. You gotta have the right font, the right wording, not too
You gotta have
small, not too big.
contrast, yeah.
Contrast, easy to read and friendly. Okay. I'm just looking at this one right now, and it's, you know, it has a Christmas Day luncheon. The first one, potato and watercress soup. Watercress is expensive, and it's effective when it's in season, but not, you're not going to find that in season every time. What about the next one? Tomato tart with grab blocks. Okay. High more melon 3 ways. Potato wrapped tiger prawns. Potato wrapped tiger prawns. That is going to be a challenge in itself. Torino chicken, foie gras, and black pudding. That can be great if you are targeting to a generation that has that likes to have those items in their palate. I myself will go for that, but some of you guys might go, I don't know about foie gras or black pudding. What about roasted?
That potato watercress soup should be awesome, and it is the right time of year for it, but you wouldn't put it on your menu and still be trying to do it in July.
No.
You put it on when it's seasonal, when it's beautiful, run it a couple, 3 weeks. Great. Next year they come back looking for it.
You're not going to find watercress summertime. Roasted Lanciera turkey, grilled pheasant wrapped in bacon. Okay. Traditional roast hand-seared goose. Again, the word goose, we're not used to having goose in the menu. We're used to having chicken, duck, maybe quail, maybe pheasant, but goose is one of those odd things. Grilled sea bream, wild mushroom and goat's cheese souffle. Kind of heavy. Dessert, crêpe Suzette, Christmas pudding. What's in the Christmas pudding? Light mango passion fruit mousse, selection of English and French cheeses. What about the New Year's Eve gourmet dinner? Canapés, smoked chicken consomme. Consomme takes about 3 or 4 days to make, guys. 3 or 4 days to make. You guys remember how to make stock, right? Chicken stock. We left it in the stock pot overnight, barely bubbling. We took it out, strained it nice and gentle so it didn't have all the cloudiness. And you got to go back and clarify it again. It takes a long process to make consomme. It's expensive. The labor that goes behind it. Fancier breast of wood pigeon and partridge. Again, 2 different kind of birds, right? Pigeon and partridge.
Pheasant.
Huh?
Pheasant.
Pheasant, right? Pheasant and squab. Lightly spiced puy lentils with scallops. Best end of Heyman's farm lamb. Again, it's lamb, but what is Heyman's lamb? Okay. Pan fried salmon and sea bass. Sea bass, if you buy Chilean sea bass, it's about $27 a pound, so you got to be careful what kind of sea bass you use. Oven roasted goose nard duck, risotto with wild mushrooms, lemon meringue, selection of English and French cheeses. Okay. What else? Passion fruit souffle, coffee tea, mint crisps. So this menu, if you have the right audience, it could sell. Again, what is what could be your target, your demographics, your target audience for this menu? Who would be your age gap for this menu?
25 to 40. Making, I'd say 50,000 or above annually.
Okay. Who's 25 to 40 in this class? I mean, 25-year-olds or close to 25. Will you buy some of this?
24.
I would.
Okay.
That's a nice menu. Where is this place? Jeff, that's a nice menu. Where is that place?
It doesn't say where is it. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't see where it was.
But it's considered fine dining, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Fine dining.
I was gonna say I'm 24. I'll take my money to Chuck E. Cheese.
It is considered fine dining. Okay. So it is a good menu, and you're right. I mean, you know, some people are okay with this menu; they'll pay for it. And if you notice on this menu, what is missing from this menu?
Pictures.
Prices.
Dessert? No, they got dessert.
Prices.
No.
So what can this menu be considered as?
Misleading?
No. It's probably a pre-fee. Price fix, isn't it, Chef?
Yep. Look at the bottom.
Oh, the prices are at the bottom.
Yep.
Okay.
80 per person, prefix menu. Right?
Oh, what? I've never done that before.
Prefix menu. Right?
Oh, it's $360 for two at Gordon's flagship restaurant in London. And that's pounds, not American dollars.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a lot more expensive here in the States, right?
Yeah.
I would personally go definitely, make a reservation and go in this menu, both of them.
Awesome.
Right? With, the proper wine to match it, to have respect for this food, right? And if you were about to buy this menu, you probably expect the white tablecloth setting with the napkins, the silverware, the whole 9 yards, and the service that goes with it, right?
Right, Chef, I can't see the print there very well, but it looks like the alcohol is not included in that price, right?
Nope. No, just a
So
food.
if it's $360 a couple and it's wine on top, it's for sure going to be $500 to $600 a couple.
Uh-huh. So yeah, prefix menu, right? It get hit. Christmas and New Year's Eve. I mean, it's a special occasion. So yeah, you can on this date you can go crazy and then create such a menu because you have the audience, they're going to pay for it. Okay. So use a little psychology. Studies have shown that diners exhibit some common behaviors when they are looking at the menus. If you place your most expensive top quality entree in front of the center, they will glance at that, then their gazes will immediately drop to whatever you've listed right beneath the entree, perhaps to something they might more easily afford. This is a good place to put a menu item that you want to push. Perhaps one that will make you a little money is more or less than what your customers will see first, right? Again, it's all about the dollar, right? All about generating profit, okay? Diners are very inclined to look at the back of the menu, not first, not last, and sometimes not ever. So don't hide the dishes you want to push in that area. It's not likely to be read. The same rule applies to the lower left corner of the left side of the page. If your menu is on the top that opens up, this might be a good place to have the kiddie meals, right? If you want to have kids meals.
Yeah, good point, Chef. If you got some kids and you need a kid meal for them, you have to find it. You will look for it. So don't waste that space on something that you want to have a better place for. Put the kiddie stuff where the parent has to look for it, and they will find it.
Right. You might also want to avoid the use of columns. Diners tend to focus on price when a menu is laid out this way. When they select the cheapest entree on the list and they skip the dollar signs, they tend to have negative subliminal effect. Let's see what this menu looks like. Let me zoom in. Shrimp and lobster sauce, $5.95, $5.25 a pint, $9.50 a quart. Number 83, shrimp and spicy sauce, $5.25 or $9.50, right? Vegetables, $3.50 or $6. This looks like a Chinese restaurant menu. Okay.
Prices are all the same all the way down, pretty much, aren't they?
Right.
The whole category, $3.50 or $6, five and a quarter or $9.50. Huh.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Hey Chef, I just want to let y'all know one thing. St. Louis back home, we got the best Chinese food in the world. In the world.
okay, I'll think for that. I mean, I've been to St. Louis before. I've been to the,
Chinatown in Chicago easily.
No, bro.
No, Asian King Buffet.
We got the best Chinese food. I can call everybody right now and they can vouch because it's so good. And then you got to go to the old building to get the best food.
So this Chinese chefs come over and verify that St. Louis has the best.
Yes. If y'all want to take more than 15 minutes to make it, it's going to be done in 10. That's what you need to order.
Hold on.
It's not me.
Fried ravioli, St. Louis. So creative writing goes a long way. Maybe your primo appetizer is cannoli alla milanese. You resist the temptation to put it at the dead center of the appetizer page and list it just beneath the big ticket items, so you place it there. Okay, so you have your diners' attention. Now what? What would they want to try this dish? Why would they want to try it? Cannoli alla milanese?
Cannelloni, Milanesa.
What do you guys think about that description? No, right? Cannelloni alla milanesa. Two separate dishes, not one. Okay. So you got to be careful what you put in the menu, because in addition to placing it just so, you're going to make it sound to die for. Sure, you can say that in the description: crepes filled with chicken, veal, beef, ricotta cheese, and spinach, topped with marinara sauce. Or you can mention that the meats are freshly ground. You can say that crepes are stuffed, not just filled. The sauce doesn't just come with the crepes, are glazed with it. Okay, so cannelloni is not a crepes; it's actually a pasta. You guys made pasta before. When you roll it on the machine and you have the big long rectangle sheet, you can make cannellonis out of that one. Okay, so it's not a crepe. So go ahead and go with the top. If your descriptive writing isn't your thing, consider hiring a professional copywriter to help you with this part. Make the use of the words like renowned if it is an old family recipe. Say so and aloud of your grandmother. If she grew up with Philadelphia, it's okay to tag the dish as a Philadelphia cannelloni. Studies have also shown that regional references can tug in the diner's interest. Okay, like you were saying, Chicago, maybe Chicago Kung Pao chicken, right? You say that's the best. Now you must manage your inventory. No item on your menu should stand alone. If you offer a fresh lobster roll, be sure to include lobster in other dishes as well. Otherwise, the lobster meat will end up spoiling if you don't sell the lobster rolls. And throwing away food that in a restaurant kitchen is akin to throwing away money. Remember, everything that comes to you back door is money spent. Everything is in a trash can is money going down the drain. So if you're going to have an item like a lobster roll on your menu, you want to have a lobster pot sticker, lobster bisque, something other than just one item on the dish included in your menu. So that way you can maximize your profit and utilize cross-utilization of the product. Okay, that's when you go to a Tex-Mex restaurant and you get your enchiladas. Maybe in the fajita plates next door, they both have the same side dishes: refried beans, some Spanish rice, some guacamole, and sour cream. They want to cross-utilize everything they can, so they want to, end up with one dish that has 7 components, and no, the dishes have it, so the inventory might go bad and they might throw it away. It doesn't sell. Okay. Each item on your restaurant menu should be priced to reflect its food costs. Both keep profits up and offer affordable prices to your customers. Know what the actual amount it costs you to make each dish. Price ingredients like lobster makes a pricey menu. This suggestion doesn't mean that the food you order should be the cheapest available, because quality is the most important aspect of creating the menu items. But you should try to balance high and low food costs for reasonable profit margin. Now, again, take a look at this. You should try to balance your high and low food costs for a reasonable profit margin. On your project, you're gonna have 15 recipes. they're all going to be towards 30% food cost. But once you plug in your final retail price, they are not going to be 30%. They may be a little bit higher, maybe 34, 36%, or they may be lower. But the front page section where it's going to tell us your overall food cost percentage for that entire menu is going to be that amount, because each item is going to be different, but overall it's going to be one flat percentage. Remember I was telling you guys, showing you guys the one page where it had all the items, the raw cost, the actual retail price. You took the raw cost divided by the retail and gave you the overall food cost percentage. Okay, bottom line, your project should be at least, you know, one flat food cost percentage, even though the in single recipes might say a different story. Okay. Next, keep it simple. Each item on your restaurant menu should be priced to reflect its cost, both to keep the profits up and offer affordable prices to your customers. Know the actual amount it costs to make each dish. Price ingredients like lobster makes a pricey menu. Suggestion doesn't mean that the food you order should be the cheapest available, because quality is an important aspect of creating a menu item. You should try to balance high and low food costs for reasonable profit margin. Okay, so keep it simple. Okay, so lobster, right? What about if you have a Tex-Mex restaurant? You want to sell fajitas, so you want to get a little more upscale. What kind of other cut of meat can you utilize for fajitas instead of skirt steak?
Chicken?
No, beef.
Oh, for beef.
Yeah.
Flank? Is it flank?
Bingo.
Flank works. Yeah, I don't know if it's cheaper than skirt or not.
I was gonna say chuck.
Too tough.
No.
Flank works, but again, if you're looking into upselling your fajitas, you can advertise flank steak instead of skirt steak. It might throw some people off because originally, fajita is supposed to be made with skirt steak.
It is made with skirt. That's right.
Yeah.
Chef, I've seen things a lot like fajitas. We used to call it London broil before I ever heard of fajitas. In the old school places, we used to do something called London broil. It was the same idea where you marinate it and you grill it, but you kind of leave it medium. You don't get too close to well done with it. And it was very nice. I liked it a lot. I just don't know. I've never really done the math to see what happens if you try to sell it as fajitas. It might work pretty good. I do like that cut of meat.
Chef, the only reason I said chuck is because what we do at the workplace that we're at, like he buys the chuck because it's cheaper, and we trim off the silver skin, and after we trim off the silver skin, we package it in saran wrap and let it freeze, and then we take the sandwich slicer and slice it up real thin, and then turn it into like fajita beef and stuff like that.
That's completely not fajitas. That's a Philly cheesesteak trick.
Yeah.
Tell that chef you got more stuff to teach him.
Yes, Chef.
I'm gonna have a little twitch here, Daniel. I don't know.
Yeah, that's Philly cheesesteak meat. Yeah, so flank steak can be utilized, but again, fajitas traditionally, originally, it's not it's skirt steak. It's not flank steak, but you can utilize flank steak. I've done that before, and it's going to cost a little bit more money because flank steak is a little bit more expensive, and the yield is a lot less because you're not the skirt steak is a long, couple of feet of steak, and you're going to trim it and cut it and marinate it. Flank steak's a lot smaller, so you get less for the flank steak. And London broil is another classical dish with the mushroom sauce on top. But then again, you can't improvise and use it. Just got to make sure you advertise and not sell it like skirt steak fajita, because people that know it's a fajitas.
Chef, I think it's a nice idea. If you talk it up right and your servers know how to talk about it at the table, they can create an idea of value. You're getting a really nice cut of meat here. We don't usually make fajitas from this. And it's made with something that you could even say this is made with a piece of meat that is traditionally been used for London broil, and that might sound pretty good. And if you want to charge 22 instead of 16, saying it right might get you there. Yeah. I'm not saying it's all about charge more, but restaurants do look for opportunities to mark things up.
Increase check average. So yes, flank steak can be utilized for skirt steaks instead of fajitas, okay? just in case. And it should be easy to prepare. Nothing will bog a restaurant kitchen down faster than during a dinner rush that are complex menu items that take a long time to prepare. Menu items should be one or two things: easy to prepare on the spot, such as by sauteing or grilling, or easy to prepare ahead of time and reheat. Think lasagna, cooked pasta, and prime rib. Okay. On your restaurant, you have line cooks. Okay. In diners, you have the short order cooks. Your line cooks are there to not to spend a lot of time prepping, but to execute the menu items as they come in. Again, fingerling potatoes with a steak, maybe a couple of veggies and some sauce, easy to produce. Maybe saute can do a pasta shrimp scampi. Shrimp scampi may have 5 or 6 ingredients on it, but it can be made in less than 5 minutes. Okay, so all the menu items on your menu should be easy to prepare, easy to execute, less than 5-10 minutes, unless you have a 7-8 ounce steak that takes 45 minutes to cook at medium rare. Even salads should be easy to prepare, because one thing, like it says, if you have a menu dish that is hard to make and it's very complex, if you get slapped with that menu item, you're going to be in the weeds for a long time before you can get yourself out of it. Customers are going to be waiting for their food, and you're going to have loss of sales. Unhappy customers maybe walking off your restaurant or returning the dish back because it took so long they got overfull with the bread. Okay.
Chef Miguel, I don't see the complexity as an issue, because as we always say, if you have everything mise en placed, then that complex dish or whatever, whether it be plating or something like that, should only take about 10 seconds. But if it's like a dish that takes long to cook, then I think that's the issue. I don't think like height or complexity or something like that is an issue.
It depends upon your facilities and your skills too. If you really have great mise en place, it may not be an issue, but even no matter how fast you are, if you're really doing more covers than that restaurant kitchen is designed to do, and you don't have the burner space and you can't turn over the skillets fast enough and things like that, you can still get in a jam. We're not saying never do something with some steps. We are saying make sure that you have the space, the number of burners and things like that to turn it over quick when the pressure comes, if the pressure gets heavy on you. We're not saying it can't be done, but it's just one of those things you think about when you're planning. If you look it over and say to yourself, I can do that, then good, go for it,
Let's say you want to have a traditional beef Wellington on your menu, okay? It takes a long time to prep it and make it. You can't make it to order. It's got to be done ahead of time. So that's one of the things that, again, don't make it complex unless you have an army of crew in your kitchen that can produce this item. Because once your beef Wellington is like halfway through, then another one needs to be started as soon as possible, and it takes time. You got to have the puff pastry, the sell, all those things that go with it. In my experiences, when we had the menu, we're trying to make it not as easy to prepare, but the menu items were not a long, laborious process to produce. The only time we were able to do that, and one of my favorite holidays of the year to work with, was Valentine's Day. Because Valentine's Day, our regular menu was off. We didn't offer that one. And we can concentrate, make those dishes a little bit more labor intense, but the menu was cut by at least 3/4 of the size of the regular menu. And we had the crew to make it happen.
So you had a bigger crew and you had a little, in a way, the menu was kind of, the steps were simpler, right?
Correct, simpler.
Yeah.
It took some time to prep it and get it done. And we were able to accomplish that. And in a case like this, you can. If the menu is small enough, you have the crew and they can prepare, because maybe the sauté side, can have about 3 or 4 steps how to make a dish, right? Shrimp scampi, trout lemonier. I mean, it's a 2-3 steps, but if you have the mise en place, it can be done. But try to have a dish that doesn't take a long time to prepare.
Chef, I got one more thought I want to share and all that. I think you're exactly right about that. It's not that you can't do it's not that you never would do the kind of more complex stuff, but you can have your restaurant ride you, ladies and gentlemen, or you can ride that sucker. And when you're looking at a heavy, heavy day, you got to ride it. Here's an example. I had a tiny cafe. I had about 55 seats. I think I got up to about 60 seats when I really had the full patio set and everything. And I was still a very small operation in my 3rd year, and the place was getting really popular. We started getting really a lot of calls for New Year's Eve. And we were always closed the whole time of Christmas break. And our first evening back in business was always going to be New Year's Eve. That's how we did it every day for like 6 years. And so we saw a lot of business coming. I still had a tiny kitchen and a small crew. I knew I was going to be working with probably one cook on the line. And we were going to do something like 220 covers that night. And that meant we had to start seating them before 5. We had to seat all the way to 10 o'clock. We had to stay full the whole time. And we did that. And the way we did it was, I had become known for a pretty good prime rib, and I roasted enough prime ribs that I could not worry about running out almost no matter what. And I pushed it real hard. Like when they called for reservations, we said, consider our prime rib. It's going to be really great. We're going to have plenty of it and everything. We wound up serving 230 people, and we sold prime rib to, I think, a little bit under half, like 108 or 109 people had prime rib. So there's a 108 customers that every time I saw that ticket, what I have to do for that prime rib? Slice, plate, jus, see ya, right? So it took the pressure off of sauteing. It took the pressure off of grilling and stuff. Took the pressure off all those little mise en place intensive things. You can decide how that thing's going to go. If you're going to get your ass handed to you and you have no plan to push the things that are easy to produce, yeah, it's going to be rough, or potentially could be pretty rough, right? Right. So you choose the menu dishes that will promote moving right through nice and smooth. It gave me enough time to concentrate on the other stuff that was more complex. It was not difficult.
So yes, like what Chef Gary said, when you're designing a menu, you got to make sure that if you're averaging 250 covers, how are you going to streamline the line, your menu, your mise en place, and your prep, so your cooks can execute that menu. Again, Cheesecake Factory is an example that the menu is too big, too laborious, and I've been there a couple of times, and one time it took a long time for my food to get out. I almost walked out because it was just too long. Maybe the kitchen got so bogged down that it couldn't produce the menu. So you gotta, it's called menu designing. You gotta take into consideration your equipment, your space, the skill labor of your cooks, and also too, what kind of seating capacity you have, because it all goes down to how you work as a team. Is a hostess not controlling the front? She opens the floodgates, and all of a sudden everything gets full up, and then the printers is like nonstop going with tickets coming out, all over the place. So the more you streamline the menu, the more you make it a lot more user-friendly with the front and back of the house, and not make it so labor-intense, the more successful you're going to be. Get them in and get them out. As soon as they come in, you should not be able to spend more than 30 minutes on a tabletop, depending on the steak temperatures, and also on the size of the orders that come in. 30 minutes is way too long.
That's pretty long, isn't it? Yeah.
I would say 12 to 15 minutes once the food order comes in. A steak, 12-ounce, 14-ounce New York strip might take about maybe 10 minutes to cook medium well, depending on the grill or the oven. If you want to cook in the oven, on the grill it might take a little bit longer. So 50 minutes average time to push a ticket out. Okay. Let's take a little quick video break right here. I'm going to show you guys. I need you guys to look at this video, watch it, and let me know your feedback once it's done. Okay, it's called Restaurant Reality 101. So watch it right now, and then don't go away and give us your feedback. Okay, where is it?
Can you post a link, Chef?
Yes, I will. Here it is. Okay, you guys got it?
No, it didn't show up in the chat on my end, Chef.
Is that on your screen?
Nah, can you put the link in the chat?
I will. But I want to show you guys the what it looks like. I'm going to put the
7.5 minutes, Chef. Yeah, mine came up pretty quick in the Google search bar on my cell phone.
Here you go. There's a link.
Mute yourself.
While there are many facets and details involved in starting a restaurant, we found that success in the restaurant business boils down to accomplishing just 3 basic steps. Step 1 is finding out what they want. Find out what people want that they can't currently get in your local market. In other words, what type of food, service style, atmosphere, location, look, and even price point would attract a sufficient number of customers to buy what you're proposing to offer. Here's the point. It doesn't.
Chef Miguel, the audio is overlapping on your side.
It doesn't really matter what you like to cook.
Chef, I can't hear you.
Hey, Chef, can you put that video up again, please?
On the screen or on the link?
Either, because I don't see it here in the chat.
Okay, sorry. I had it on private mode. Here you go.
Thank you.
What do you guys think?
I'm about halfway through it.
Okay.
All right, guys, how we looking?
I still got 6 minutes. The video I found is almost 18 minutes long.
Hey.
I'm a
Okay.
little over 10 minutes in.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like 7 minutes long.
Well, so Chef, you want to just let folks who are in it keep on staying in it, and then when that's over, we've set the 10-minute break, starting after it's over.
Yep.
So we've got a couple of us, a couple of you guys will get a little bit longer break out of this, but if you're still watching one that you started into, it's all right. So how long do you guys have left to go on the ones you're watching?
6 minutes.
I finished mine.
Okay, well, Chef, would it work if we just say, look, we're going to come back in 15 minutes from now? That if anybody's still watching 5 minutes or so, I don't want to take too much time away because of that longer video.
Right. All right, I'm going to pause it. You guys finish watching it 6 minutes. You guys have watched it. They can take a 10, 15-minute break. We'll come back and we'll finish the discussion. Okay, guys?
So Chef, it's 8:08 now. What time do you want everybody back?
8:08, 8:10, 25.
8:25. Okay.
Okay.
Good enough.
You can do some specials on the weekend. Maybe say, hey, by the way, you know, I'm running a seafood buffet this the last Friday of the month. Or maybe for Lent, I'm running a seafood buffet. Or maybe I'm having seafood specials. So it's also a way for you to advertise what's coming up down the pipeline on your menu. What are you working on? Get them excited to come back and try those items, but make sure that you follow through, because if you're gonna touch tables and say, oh, by the way, on whatever holiday, I'm having a seafood buffet. I'm gonna have some fried shrimp, some crab legs, some clams, oysters, whatever, and get them excited so they want to come back and then maybe bring their friends with them. Money.
And you learn what your customers like when you hang out with them for a few moments, right? I had a customer many years ago. I met her in a bar. She was like a cocktail waitress in a bar, and she brought me a beer. And then the next week, she brought me a beer. And she said, "What do? You always come in here at midnight or whatever." I said, "Well, I got a little cafe." And we got talking. I gave her a business card, and couple weeks later, here she came with about 3 friends, and she just kind of waved at me when she came in the door. And they had brunch. I was pretty busy. I didn't really see exactly what they're eating. I just knew a ticket came. I cooked it and this and that. And pretty soon she came back and she was so happy with it. And she felt like she hit really cool thing with their friends because they live not very far away and they did not know about that place. And so the next thing I know, I'm seeing them like 2-3 times a month, and then pretty quick the group is 7 people, 8 people, stuff like that. So just the contact, and then the fact that they knew the chef when they went in there, it meant something to those guys, you know? It was kind of cool. You can, it's kind of a strange thing, but you start to become a little bit of a celebrity chef or a celebrity when you operate a good cafe where there's conscientious attention paid to the food. You run a good place and make nice food, and you're good at your customers and stuff. You kind of a little bit of a local hero. Maybe you don't want that. You better not start a small cafe in a small town or something like that. But you get a lot of gratification out of it. It's a lot of fun. It's a really cool kind of a social thing in your life. And I got a card my last time I picked up my mail. I got a card from a guy that was coming to my cafe for like 6 months before I ever met him. And I met him in 1994. He wound up being my life insurance agent and a couple other things too. And I got a card from him like today. He's a guy that I've known for 25 years now, and he still has a little piece of my like personal financial business. So it's an awesome thing that happens connections wise when you take care of your customers like that. And the way I first met them was they liked my food and they invited me out and quote unquote bought me a beer like I didn't have any beer in my own in my own place. So that kind of stuff is really cool for connections, right?
You never know.
I had people come in there and say, hey, you got an awesome little operation here. Do you want a nicer building in a better location? I'm not making this up. This actually happened. You know, we have the real estate. We need a restaurant to drive customers because we have other businesses that don't have high traffic. We need a cafe over there. Would you like to do it? Yeah. So business deals come out of this kind of thing.
They do. You never know who you're going to meet. Maybe the mayor, maybe someone else. Yeah. So yeah, always keep that in mind. Okay. Touch tables. Don't say they shoot the breeze and start mooching. Okay. So know when to update your restaurant menu. The menu should be set in stone or laminated to exist into perpetuity ever. Keep your food costs in check by updating your menu at least once a year. You don't have to rewrite the whole entire menu at once. Regular customers will be disappointed if they come and experience the favorites and they're no longer on the menu. You don't want that. Just make sure that the prices are where they should be, and to assess the menus items so you can nix any of that that aren't selling. And again, we're going to talk about the workhorses, the dogs, and some of the items are not selling. How you're going to get rid of those? Okay, and maybe you want to keep it to balance out the food costs. So the menu should be changed at least twice a year. Okay, winter and fall, maybe 3 times if you have the accessibility. Summer menu, lighted fare, because winter you're going to have your root vegetables, you're going to have your stews, your heavy starchers, your cream soups, all those items.
Pork, things like that. Yeah. Maybe a spring, summer, and then a fall, winter. At least 2 changes a year, chef. At least 2 changes a year, because that way, if you're trying to run your spring and summer menus in the fall, it ain't going to happen, because those products that were already available for you, that were in season, flavorful, fresh, and priced accordingly, they're not going to be the same in the fall and winter. Strawberries is one of them. Blueberries, raspberries you're going to have for dessert. Butternut squash, summer squash, broccoli, cauliflower, collard greens, lettuces. They're not going to be the same spring and fall to the wintertime. Vice versa. You're going to have, you can't have those root vegetables. And nowadays you can pretty much have anything year round, but it's going to cost you a lot of money, a little bit more money, and the flavor is not going to be the same. The quality is not going to be the same. So be careful and change your menus accordingly. If you want to laminate it, you're going to have to be you're going to have a lot of high costs laminating menus, because if you change the menus twice a year, you're going to be laminated twice a year. Imagine how many menus you're going to be able to do that. Okay, unless you want to have the same menu, year after year after year, like IHOP, right? They laminate the menus, but it's a breakfast. It's pancakes, waffles, maybe burgers, a couple of chicken fingers here and there. Maybe the type of restaurant can laminate their menus. What vegetable dish did we do in the foundations class that would be just about coming into season about the next 5 or 6 weeks? That is inexpensive and delicious and cooks fast. It's going to be really a popular thing June.
So what kind of?
Grilled vegetables, eggplant, squashes, things like that, right? Marinated real quick, real quick. Not a winter squash, but rather a zucchini and a yellow squash and things like that to cook real fast. Also, peppers, eggplants, tomatoes, basil. Right. So stuff. So I mean, when it's in season, people are in the mood for it. That's what I'm trying to say there. When it's in season, people will be happy you're doing it. Quality will be high, price will be low. You can make money easily, and it's what your people want.
Always go with the seasons, the best quality, guys, the best quality available. Okay. Even lemons can cost you like maybe $3, $4. Or in the season, they can get like $8, $4. Limes, you know, a couple of years ago, remember there was a shortage of limes. Key lime pie, margaritas,
Oh my God, that's my
lemonades.
favorite. That key lime pie is mucho bueno.
Yeah.
You can make it during when the key limes are available, make a large batch and freeze them. But then again, the quality is not going to be the same as a fresh key lime pie. You can resort to the bottle key lime juice, but that tastes like crap. It tastes like plastic. So know when to offer special menus. Busy holidays like Mother's Day or Valentine's Day often merit a special prefix menu to prevent the kitchen from being in the weeds the entire night. Prefix menu limits the number of items available at a given time, making it easier for the kitchen to turn out a large number of meals in a short time. Remember I was telling you guys, my favorite time of the year is to Valentine's because I was going to go crazy on the menu and have different items, okay? So here, Christmas, filet mignon with crab cakes, petit filet, lemon glaze, and one of our crab cakes with remoulade, served with cheese and macaroni. Starters, bayberry wings, right? Then toss in Thai honey hot sauce with cracked black pepper and cheese and celery sticks. Mains, mad butter blackened fish sandwich. What's wrong with that description there, guys? Mad batter blackened fish sandwich.
Is blackened fish battered?
Blackened fish. Mad batter blackened fish.
Mad.
Too long.
Huh?
It's too long.
Right. What else?
Well, Chef, from my standpoint, I know exactly what blackened fish is, and blackened fish is not battered. So maybe I understand what they're saying. What does this batter word mean here?
Matt's kind of negative.
Yeah, no pricing.
What else? Mad batter blackened fish sandwich.
That don't make
sense. Sounds weird.
Mad. The word mad throws it off.
Is it a pun on Mad Hatter?
Mad cow.
When I think of a blackened fish, the only thing that comes to my mind is catfish.
It's not true.
Well, you know, salmon.
For me, yeah, that's for me too.
The only thing that comes to Chef Gary's mind when you say that is black drum.
Black drum. Go on, get over here.
It's a good thing we're not in the classroom right now.
The thing about blackening is, in the big days of blackening, we blackened everything from redfish to the blackened drum, the black drum that James can't get over, to Gulf speckled redfish. Salmon is done, but it's not common. The thing originated in Louisiana, so it works and it's tasty with salmon. But you know, heck, people blacken chicken and prime rib even, Chef, right? So
right.
I'm just saying I'm kind of weirded out here because I've never seen somebody call a blackened dish using the word batter. I'm not sure what that means.
Batter and blackened fish. There's no specific what kind of fish it is, right? Again, when I think of a blackened fish, my mind immediately goes to catfish. Yes, we do blacken salmon, but salmon doesn't really go into a sandwich. I mean, it's a great dish if you do it properly as an entree, but not as a sandwich, because salmon in a sandwich is like, I don't know. Like catfish, it's more flat. It's flatter. It can work as a sandwich. What other fish can utilize as a blackened fish in a sandwich?
Flounder.
Cod.
Tilapia.
Cod.
Tilapia.
Wouldn't cod, because you could do fish and chips with cod.
In a sandwich, blackened? I don't know.
Oh no, squash.
Swahi, yeah. So that's a Thai.
Tilapia.
Yeah, tilapia. Okay.
Mong chong.
And again, think about the wording in the menu. Okay, if you're going to have something like that, make sure you specify what kind of item it is because it's redundant, right? Mad batter blackened fish sandwich. The fuck? Right? Here's another one, okay? Prefix menu can also act as a great promotion during slow times. Special 2-for-1 prefix menus or wine tasting prefix menu can get people through the door, even during the hard economic times. Prefix menu, here's one, beef salad, apple chips, smoked salmon, and hazelnut vinaigrette. Beef salad, okay? Salad vert, green salad, mixed greens, green onions, French vinaigrette. Salad de endives, walnuts, grapes, honey mustard vinaigrette, gorgonzola cheese. Salad de chèvre, a hot goat cheese salad. Raspberries, candy pecans, warm goat cheese, bacon, balsamic vinaigrette. La Platz, poisson du jour, French daily fish with lemon beurre blanc, easy dish. Sirloin grilled at Beurre Maitre d' Hotel. 100% Angus steak, fresh veggies. Pilar de Salmon, salmon steak roasted in cedar plank, julienne vegetable tossed in basil oil. Not bad. $30 per person. Prefix menu. Always proofread your menu. Have you ever offered fresh mussels or chicken and broccoli Alfred? Right? What is wrong with fresh mussels?
You're not eating someone's muscles. It's not clam.
Chewy. Texture.
It's this.
Mussels should be fresh, unless you buy them IQF individually, quick frozen, right? Or you're gonna have dead mussels or.
Chef, the joke is here we're talking about mussels, right?
Yeah.
But mussels, the shellfish are MUSSELS, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Right? And
You have rocks, right? Or
Yeah,
sand.
special here, I guess.
And broccoli Alfred.
Oh, this is
Instead of Alfredo.
Right.
Okay. Have a second or third set of eyes. Check for typos before print your menus, including your nightly specials. Okay. Always have appropriate menu because you make some mistakes and like, what the hell, right?
Oh my
last
gosh,
but not least,
it's worse when you go overseas. When people in Japan try to spell cook, but they don't spell cook.
Oh, that's funny. What Chef is talking about here, as far as just making sure everything you say on your menu is really spelled right. Look, guys, listen here carefully. You're the chef, right? You're the one with the restaurant. You ought to be the local food celebrity and expert, right? I'm not saying you got to make a bunch of big attitude about it, but you the man and you the woman, right? If I'm the local, I don't know, drywall guy, and I can spell mussels or use the right form of the word mussels, and you can't, the first thing is I think you are a dumbass, right? I'm just saying you cannot be the chef and be caught not being able to not being able to spell your food words right. And like if you're saying things like, we saute this in white wine sauce. No, you don't. You can saute it and then create a white wine sauce from the pan, but you cannot saute in wine sauce. I'm just saying this is all sounds silly, like, oh, Chef Gary's losing it again. But I'm trying to say that you want to really know that what you say is real and could actually be defended, and that the spelling is right and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to make yourself look like a rookie. You want to look like a pro.
But I had a chef that we had again, the asparagus on the menu, and he could not spell asparagus to save his life. So he would type the menu. He would spell it ASPARAGAS.
Asparagus.
I know you said we can't saute in white wine sauce. I know it's sauteing in a fat, which is an oil or butter or whatever. Would you say on your menu, would you say sauteed and tossed in a white wine sauce?
You could do that, or sauteed and napped or coated with white wine sauce. But I think you have the point. You just saute is a dry heat technique and it uses fat, right? So if you put some sauce in a pan and cook something in it, even if it's in a saute pan, you are not sauteing. You're just cooking in some sauce.
Yes.
And it sounds like I'm getting all persnickety about it, but really, if I see a chef write sauteed in white wine sauce, I know that guy has not been to culinary school, and if he was, he's sleeping. It does not happen. You cannot saute in water.
No, you can poach in a
Right.
liquid.
You can simmer in some sauce.
Now, instead of sauteing, you can say a la nage, swimming in this liquid,
That's right. Yep.
but not saute. Okay.
So we're just trying to say, be smart the way you say what you're going to say, guys. Right? I'm making too much fun, but I'm going to shut up for a while. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. Last but not least, stay within the law. Okay. Yes, there are laws for menus in many states. These are called truth in menu. Statutes you want to be very sure that you say about an entree is indeed true. If you want to say that a dish is locally sourced, confirm first that it didn't actually come from Norway when you situate it in New England. Other tricky phrases is farm raised. Don't say it if you're not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Stay within the laws on the menu. Again, I give that example of if you're going to advertise rabbit fricassee, you're going to use squirrel. You can't do that. Okay. If you're going to, and a lot of restaurants will do this too. I'll give you two examples. Okay. A lot of chefs trying to get away from with murder, they'll advertise truffle risotto. Okay. They will utilize the gills of the portobello mushrooms to look like truffles, and they will drizzle the truffle oil on top of the risotto. It looks like truffles, smells like truffles, and it might taste like truffles, but they're not true truffles. Also, when they're making saffron risotto, if they're down on saffron, what are they going to use instead to make sure that the rice looks yellowish like saffron?
Curry powder.
Turmeric.
Turmeric.
Turmeric. Yeah.
Turmeric.
Turmeric. If you're going to have a pasta carbonara, if you guys know how to make pasta carbonara, right, it's not a bechamel sauce. It's not a cream sauce. A lot of places will do a bechamel sauce and that chop bacon in piece to it and call it carbonara. That is not true carbonara.
That's right. It's not.
Okay. So be careful. Make sure that what you say on your menu, it is true. Otherwise, you're within this truth in menus laws. Okay. And make sure you have somebody spell. You don't want to have asparagus on your menu. Okay. Yeah, I laugh at that too. The guy was from, unfortunately, did I tell you guys a story? I know I told you guys in the Saturday in class. Okay. Speaking of culinary students that fell during lecture or class, I'm going to share the story with you guys. I know I shared with my foundations class. A while ago, I was working with this executive chef. I was executive sous, right? And he marketed himself as a CEC, Certified Executive Chef, through the ACF. And he was also a fellow CIA alumni. He had graduated back in the 80s, big, tall, Irish, Italian American from Philly, big, tall guy. So you can imagine his tone of voice, his slang. Anyways, he always liked to sit on the desk, you know, getting whatever done on his nails or his whatever. Anyways, he was never out of the kitchen. One day we ran out of pizza shells. I don't know if I told you guys a story. So I had a pizza recipe in a 3-ring binder in the kitchen as backup. And one day we were so busy, it was Saturday night, and we ran out of pizza for the bar and room service. I had no more pizza shells. It was so busy we ran out. And the food and beverage got a wind of it, comes into the kitchen and starts hollering and screaming, why in the F this and that? Finally, the chef got up from his office, walked with the food and beverage behind the restaurant kitchen line. Was a pastry kitchen. And I was pumping 650 covers a night in the middle of the service, you know, getting my rhythm on with the food servers, the line cooks. I was being expediter that night. All of a sudden, I heard my name from the pastry kitchen behind the kitchen line. Miguel, I'm like, the hell? So I went to see what was the commotion, was all about. So when I turned around the kitchen, he was, I kid you not, he was standing in front of the prep table, looking at the baker's scale, rubbing his chin, asking me, how do you operate this thing? I was flabbergasted and embarrassed to be a graduate of the same culinary school he was, and he did not know how to operate a baker's scale. We both went through the same program. We both went through baking and pastries. We both got trained and learned how to use a baker's scale. I knew how to use it beforehand, but he's sitting there not knowing how to operate it. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Anyways, okay. Science story, it happens, okay. So again, when you doing the menu, make sure you have somebody proofread it. Make sure somebody catches the mistakes if you misspell anything, or if you're not too sure how to spell something, ask around, like mussels, right? That's another true mussels. Alfredo missing the O. What about if we have a French onion soup? You forget the U. Now you have French onion soup. Not good, right?
Yeah, nasty.
Yeah, can't sell French onion soup. Okay. Resist the urge to embellish unless you know you can back up what you say. This includes taking a supplier's word for it. And if you include photos, make sure that the entree you present looks like advertised. Ms. Yossi, again, you were talking about having pictures on your menu. If you're going to have pictures of the menu, make sure that the food goes out, it looks like the picture. Once you made that commitment, you cannot back away from it. Okay? And again, don't embellish, and you can back what you say. A while ago, I was working for another chef here in town back in '99 at Lakeway, and he touted his menu to be better than Jeff Blank's Hudson's on the Bend. And again, we talk about Jeff Blank's, a exotic game meat restaurant. This chef that I was working for, he was from Hilton Head, Hilton Head, and he was having alligator tail, some kind of game meats on the menu, venison, and he was touting the public and even a local food writer that his food and his menu was better than Jeff Blank's. No, it wasn't. Food writer came in and tore us apart. Didn't give us not even 1 star. So again, if you're gonna embellish, make sure you can back up what you say you can. Okay, you're gonna have a souffle, make sure it is souffle. If you're gonna have a pasta carbonara, make sure it's not cream sauce. Okay, if you're gonna have fresh pasta, make sure it's not Amy's pasta raviolis from the store bought. It is homemade, it is fresh. Just like the video said, home baked or home baked from scratch, right? Pick up a menu next time you're out to eat, and automatically your eye will drift to the over to the right-hand corner. Restaurant know this. That's why when they often list their most profitable dishes there, one of the first steps in menu designs is determining which dishes will appeal to consumers, how they will fit, and the brand, how profitable they will be. Okay. Here's a different kind of menu. This is a 4-minute video, guys. I'm gonna slide it right over so you guys can take a look at it. Let me know your thoughts. It's only 4 minutes, okay? And I will share the link with you guys through the chat as well.
How long was it, Chef?
It's about 4.5 minutes.
1.5?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. I don't know if I didn't get that link right or what.
I'm sending the link right now.
You send it on email?
Chat.
Oh, okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it.
Different kind of menus.
Restaurants can be a la carte. That simply means that all of the different menu items can be purchased individually and they each have their own individual price. It's also true that restaurants can be.
Somebody is echoing the video.
They can choose how much.
How we doing?
Just finished it, chef.
All right. Interesting, right? Different kinds of menus. In the perfect world, everything it says should work, and it does work most of the times, except when you have staff that is not very strong and tend to crash and burn. Okay, so it's a good one. Different kinds of menus. All right, so number 8, essential restaurant menu design tips. Great restaurant menu designs can enhance the dining experience, help customers make satisfying choices, and stimulate their appetite. However, if a menu is more than just a list of the dishes the restaurant has available, it is an advertising tool capable of communicating a restaurant identity and driving profit if it's well designed. Okay, restaurant 2. Menu. Next, we'll discuss we're going to discuss several visual strategies on menu design that can help you increase profit margins in your restaurant clients. 1, be aware of eye scanning patterns. We learned that from the first video. For years, restaurants have been designing their menus in order to, under the assumption that customers' eyes are naturally drawn to the sweet spot on the upper right-hand corner, or placing their higher profit items here. However, new research suggests that customers tend to read the menus like a book, starting from the top left corner. I've done that before, guys. It is true. Okay. 2, divide the menu into logical sections. Make it easy for customers to reach for dishes by arranging them sequentially in logical groups, starting with the appetizers. Okay. Where we go. 3, use photos sparingly. Photos of food are more commonly associated with junk mail flyers and big chain restaurants like Denny's, not high-end restaurants. If you do use photos, they must be of extremely high professional quality, which may be costly. In general, it is better to leave the quality of the food to the customer's imagination, because not all food photography will appeal to everybody. Might be a turnoff. Plat du jour, here's one that has the menus, right? Pictures. Here's another one. This steakhouse uses photos sparingly in its menu, but chooses high quality ones that play up the dish's ingredients, colors, and textures. This technique is all about making a menu item that's appealing as possible so people want to order it. So replacing poor quality or unappetizing pictures will defeat the purpose. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. Okay, you can read that. Okay. Maybe it's too big. So we can use pictures and highlight the items too, like cold for salads, green, hot for entrees, maybe different blue for desserts. So it can be color coordinated as well too. Okay. 4, considering using illustration instead of photography, try using illustrations. They're more likely to be universal appealing. They can help communicate in the restaurant's personality. What do you guys think about this menu right here?
It's really detailed.
It's a little distracting, actually.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's like a concert poster.
Concert, Comic-Con, tattoo shop, parlor, right?
That menu is going to fail.
Yes,
they got tacos, sushi, Belgian fries, sweets, sliders, fondue, guacamole. I expect none of it will be any good.
It's all over the place. Fondue, crispy tacos, sushi, sliders.
It's also going to have an identity crisis.
Right.
What the hell is this place?
Pretty sure they used, looks like, screw it, dude, let's go bowling. Maybe that wasn't.
I didn't see that.
Right.
Weird slogan.
Right. It's like, what is this? What kind of place is this? Too busy. If I sit and grab this man, I'm like, might get a headache. Okay. So again, illustration can be one of them. Some restaurants offer illustrations to add emphasis. You might see this at high-end restaurants or even more at casual eateries. For instance, this classic pizzeria features vintage-style illustrations on its menu with one small graphic per category. The wings on the top, right? And then the pasta or the eggs on the side too. Okay. So the different menus. 5, use descriptive language. You might call the names and descriptions of the dishes the heart of the menu. This is the information that diners base their ordering decisions on. That's why menu designers, engineers, and copywriters work hard to get diners' taste buds tingling with phrasing that is appealing, appetizing, and evocative. It has been proven that sales will go up by almost 30% when they have a good description. So when somebody sits down in your restaurant and they grab the menu, they should be salivating at reading the descriptions. So when they get the food, their experience is going to be more highly elevated. You deliver what you say is on the menu, right? That's going to make that connection, because if you drop something that's not, it's totally different than when you describe the menu, they're going to be turned off. Okay. Comparing dishes labeled with sensory descriptions such as tender, succulent, satin, cultural geographic terms like Cajun, okay, Italian, nostalgic terms like home style, traditional, and grandma's versus the same meals without those extra descriptions reveal as an important insight. The descriptive labels increase sales by 27%. So needless to say, restaurants that spend some time crafting mouth-watering dishes, titles and descriptions will reap the rewards. Let's take a look at some examples. Here's one, okay? Don't emphasize on currency signs. Don't make customers overly aware how much they're spending. Studies have shown that customers are more likely to spend more when currency signs are omitted, okay? Martin's hot sales, that's a big number, right? That's a big price. Take a look at that. $8, huge number. Don't make them stand out, okay?
Yeah.
Consider using boxes. Boxes draw attention to a group of menu items and are often used by a restaurant to promote dishes with the highest profit margins, like pasta and other carb-based items, okay? Pasta, ministry on the Rognov, la carne de Pierre e Cadole Spito, antipasti, contorni, crostini. So different boxes for different categories. You can categorize it. That's okay. Typographic, okay? Effective typography will communicate a restaurant's brand and result in a legible menu. Selection of typeface may be dependent on a number of practical factors, such as the amount of text needed to completely fit on the page. Using more than one typeface says to distinguish the names or descriptions of the menu items may help to guide some customers through the menu. Okay. The Pelican, this is weird. Okay, seafood a la carte, starter, sides, main, sweets. Choose an appropriate color. Select colors based on your target audience and the name and theme of the restaurant. Different colors have different psychological effects on the viewer. So your color scheme will help set the mood of a restaurant as well as draws attention to the served food items. Modest Tex-Mex. You guys ever been to Modest Tex-Mex? Okay.
Is it on South Lamar?
Yeah. Here's Modest Tex-Mex menu.
Oh yeah, I got the fajitas last time. Oh, and it's in the middle.
Right. Look at all those colors. Look at the different fonts.
Yeah.
It's like, holy.
Refreshing.
Yeah.
Looks nice to me anyway.
It's very downtown Austin.
Right. Very Austin. Right. Color is used to influence your feelings. Color can also be used for emphasis because people respond to color in emotional ways, often subconsciously. For that reason, color theory is put to use everything from advertising and product packaging to deciding what color to paint your office and what color to tie wear to your job interview. For menus, though, red and blue are generally thought to be helped to trigger appetite. What about this menu right here? It kind of works, right?
Chickens.
And the red and blue.
Looks like Domino's color setup though.
Right. What's the point? But when they look at it, it's like, yeah, I want some barbecue. I don't know, maybe I want the po' boy. So red and blue on the white backdrop do work, and they kind of stimulate might stimulate your appetite. And it's clean. It's got the hours. It's got the menu items. Types of menu in the hotel restaurants. The menu is a presentation, a detailed list of food items that are served in the restaurant or hotel. A menu of any food service organization is considered the most important planning control to run a food service operation. If a menu is developed with the appropriate planning, following food trend and featuring best possible options for the food lovers, then the menu can contribute all sectors at a hotel restaurant. A planned menu also can ensure proper utilization of resources, food labor, equipment, and facilities. Okay, so different menus, different concepts, the psychology behind it. Any questions, guys? Ladies?
I have a question. How do you feel about, I've seen some menus that have like on the back towards the bottom, like a little section about the restaurant's history or something like that. Some people like write down like their whole life story.
I think that it could get too long and be a big long read, like, hey, I didn't come here to read a novel. But I think that every restaurant might just have an interesting story, or maybe you tell something about the philosophy that